pothole roads, awful. Like last week, Nashville is terrible when it comes to the potholes. Maddie hit one, cracked the wheel well, thousands of dollars of damage just last week.
Oh, I hit a pothole in Nashville not long ago, and in the city limits, like downtown, not on the interstate.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, Millersburg has launched an electronic reporting form where residents can easily submit a hazard or a pothole on Facebook. Borough said the annual budget only allows for limited paving projects, but it wants to do a better job of keeping up with the potholes. Now, the borough said it has a goal to resolve the complaints within 48 hours, but the time frame may be a little longer depending on the volume of requests, especially as things get underway. Quote, some potholes may require a little more TLC, but rest assured you'll be provided with a reason if we're unable to fill it ourselves.
Well, I mean, if they can't fill it themselves, what's the other option?
I don't know.
If the road crew can't fill it, I mean, I can't be expected to. What are we going to do?
Would you wear that T-shirt?
I would not, Lance. No, I'm going to pass on that.
That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. And the show today brought to you by Urology Centers of Alabama. Our friends at UCA, helping you stay on top of your health, guys, as you age from your 20s to your 30s, 30s to 40s, and so on. Early detection so important on so many things. That's why Urology Centers of Alabama has 16 locations, 35 urologists full-time standing by to help you out. 205-930-0920 or urologycentersalabama.com to get more details. Prostate health, kidney stones, vasectomies, everything in between. You can get it all taken care of right there with the great professionals at Urology Centers of Alabama, 205-930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com. Somebody's making a move at the U.S. Open. Before we see who that is, a couple of things on my sheet that I didn't get to. Zach Arnett, one-time Mississippi State defensive coordinator and head coach, is now a defensive analyst at Florida State. He gets a shot at Alabama in Game 1.
Yeah, hard to believe that you went from being a head coach in the SEC and a respected defensive coordinator before that, and he can't find an on-the-field job.
It could be I think Zach Arnett is a really, I love the hire
respected.
When Leach went West Coast and brought him in. It might be a situation where he got paid X amount to go away, and maybe he just hasn't wanted to get another job to offset that.
Yeah, maybe, and there may be offset language in his contract, and he's bypassing that. Supposedly there are ways that the school can come back after you if you do that, but I don't know.
NBA draft next week. We know people like Philon and Pettiford came back to Alabama and Auburn, respectively. First-round SEC players, according to Gary Parrish. And the 1, 2, 3, top 4 picks have something in common. They were not on great teams. Trey Johnson is third overall pick. Jeremiah Fears, 6th overall pick from Oklahoma, Texas and Oklahoma. Colin Murray Boyle is the 12th overall pick, according to Gary Parrish.
I think he's going to be really good out of South Carolina. Asa Newell, 18th overall pick out of Georgia. And the only other SEC player that will make the first round is a national champion in Walter Clayton Jr., who's not expected to go until 29th.
Wow. Do you have his whole draft projection over there, or did you just write that down?
I just wrote that down.
I think
Gary Parrish, CBSSports.com, if you'd like to check it out.
We'll go check it out, Jim. I just didn't know if you had it in front of you.
I got to memorize that. What are you going to ask?
Well, because the two and some mock drafts are both going in.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live. Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by, ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Crucial Game 5 in the NBA tonight. Some craziness at the College World Series that continues. Recruiting churns for another week or two with some big commitments coming up in college football and some other college football conversation to get to. But as a tradition on Father's Day, they play the U.S. Open. And what a fun weekend that was of watching golf if you got into watching that sporting event. LTD&B with you, Tyler and Forrester and Melton behind the big glass today. EG and Little T handling everything social media. Taylor Korn has everything for you at Next Round Live. Check out our podcast wherever you get that, Apple and Spotify. Set those automatic downloads. That helps us out tremendously. Guys, I hope you had an awesome Father's Day. For JJ Spaun, what made this story so special was this soundbite right here. Tyler cut one. JJ Spaun, who wins the U.S. Open yesterday, he started the day like any father has to do. 3 a.m, his kid's throwing up. He has to go to CVS. Listen in.
Well, today I was running to CVS in downtown because my daughter had a stomach bug and was vomiting all night long. So I was just like, okay. Like, my wife was up at 3 a.m. and she's like, Violet's vomiting, although she can't keep anything down. And so it was kind of a rough start to the morning. I'm not blaming that on my start, but it was just kind of like it fit the mold of what was going on, the chaos. But I don't think I had any. I didn't really, like, when I go back home after the round, you know, my kids are there and it's such a big distraction where I'm not even having to dwell on anything or think too much, which is a good thing.
What a perfect Father's Day story for him to win it after having to run to CVS at 3 a.m. because his kid's throwing up.
Well, first major win and biggest paycheck in his career. Without even asking him, $4.3 million. I'm going to assume you get a nanny, right?
Yeah, that's right. I don't have to do this again.
Yeah, if you're a major winner in 2025 with the kind of money that it brings, $4.3 million, I'm saying, hey, let's hire the nanny.
I don't know if you guys have ever been in this situation similar to this. Maybe it's not a kid vomiting, but like you're in another city and you're staying. You know, he said downtown. I don't know if he's staying in a hotel somewhere.
We had swimmers here one night.
Yeah, and you're like
terrible.
You got to run to the drugstore. Like
we had lice one time out of town.
No, we had
lice is better to have out of town.
Yeah,
that's true. You're going to leave it all behind anyway, right?
True.
So but if you're in another city and you're like, I got to find a drugstore. Like if you're at home right now tonight and somebody's like, you got to run to Walgreens or CVS, you know exactly where one is, right? Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you get there.
It's on every corner in America.
Yeah.
Either CVS or Walgreens. We're not specific.
But man, if you're in a city you're unfamiliar with your wife, you got to get to the drugstore. You're like, the drugstore could be 1 block away or in the next city. I really do not know. And then you got to hit that GPS and find it. And what a pain.
How
man.
many guys in his spot would have to do that, though?
Very few.
Yeah.
Very few.
And this shows you, how random it was that he won. Let's go back to Friday when we all predicted our J.J. Spaun score.
Yeah, we owe him a big apology.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
for a minute, we looked like we were dead on. He bogeyed 5 of the first 6 holes yesterday.
Yeah, I still don't know how he pulled out of that.
Yeah.
Rain delay helped.
There's no doubt it did. It was halftime.
Yeah, reset for him.
Yeah, he made halftime adjustments.
He probably took a nap. I know I did.
He did change shirts.
Yeah, well, good call by him.
Yeah, so maybe that helped.
So he wins. He'd only won one other event in his career on the PGA Tour, the Valero. He was the runner-up, though, earlier this year at the PGA Championship. I'm right about that.
The Players.
Right? The Players.
He lost in it. I don't know if you guys well, you probably don't remember, but it was a Monday playoff with he and Rory won, but he was in the playoff. Yeah. And it kind of gets forgotten because it was a Monday playoff and very few people watched it.
And that's a big paycheck.
Oh, it's a massive paycheck.
So you're 65 feet out.
Yep.
You've only got a 2-putt.
Uh-huh.
You've still got, I don't want to say conditions, but there's still a ton of umbrellas. And, when he comes up to it.
It was going south. That weather was going south.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys think it was a better chance of a 3-putt or him to hole out like that?
Well, the hole out was not on my card, but the fact he caught the break of all breaks that Victor Hovland gave him the line and the speed.
Oh, and Hovland almost... What would have been incredible, Hovland makes that, and then Spaun makes his.
Yeah. I mean, you take a PGA Tour pro, and you show them line and speed, they're going to make most now, not from 64
60,
feet, not 64 feet, but they're going to make most makeable putts.
You see how quickly he walked right into where Hovland had been standing to watch the break?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, he was at a respectful distance. You're not going to stand right behind a guy in that situation. But he got in there quick to see. And I think it was probably less break and more speed. He really wanted to see the speed of it so that he could gauge, because he's trying to get that thing. He's trying to get that thing in a, a 4-foot radius, right? I just got to leave myself a 3 or 4 footer to win the U.S. Open. And so speed was the biggest thing. Obviously, line's hugely important. But he wanted to get there and see that speed as quick as he could.
Does that go down as the greatest putt in major history if he's tied on that and that's for the win?
If that putt had to be made to win. It's probably the best in golf history.
That would have been fantastic. He just had to lag it close, and sometimes that goes in there. You see the celebration with all the drama. The putter is being thrown there. Do you have the still shot of the putter? I wish I'd have bought stock in this on Friday. This is the first major win for the Lab putter.
Everybody's going to him.
According to Dan Rappaport. And that will be, it looks like some kind of...
you would brand a horse with it or something?
They're all ugly. You're not going to find a good-looking Lab putter, but they...
it looks like I'm about to brand a cattle with my emblem on there, yeah.
JJ Spaun in a Western?
Yeah. But a Lab putter won't be the last major, according to Dan, but apparently everybody's going to it, Brown. Should that have been on my Father's Day request list?
Well, it depends on how much you want Maggie to spend on a putter.
Are they expensive?
They're not cheap.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
More than an Odyssey?
Well, I mean, it depends on what you're buying, but probably
Is
yes.
a putter $500?
Could be, yeah. I mean, those are probably, there's some of those that are $500. Just depends on what you're buying. I mean, it's like anything else, Lance. Do you want to go?
You putt for dough, so you got to pay for you got to pay the dough.
Do you? I mean, JJ Spaun didn't pay $500 for it. They're paying him to use it.
I mean, honest to goodness, if we heated the end of that up, it looks like we could brand a cow with
You definitely could.
Yeah.
I mean, how much does his life change?
Oh, a ton. I mean, had you heard of JJ Spaun before this week?
Yeah, I mean, I had, and
I
don't know if it was because of the playoff with McIlroy or because of this pool we do.
Yeah.
But I told you I did take a look at him.
Yeah,
I really did.
You did mention that when we were saying he was going to finish 3 over. You said you took a look at him and didn't go with him because of that.
By the way, nobody did.
No, I mean
there were some guys that had Sam Burns.
I told you that I read, it's when Furman was on with us, I read the guy, I think it was MGM, was like, we're pulling for JJ Spaun. We've only got 3 tickets on that guy.
That's right.
Sure, he's 80-1, but we'll pay those 80-1 tickets or whatever he started the week at.
Well, technically, everybody else will pay for those,
That's right.
those 3 tickets, and we'll take the rest.
Yeah, we'll take the profit.
It's funny. Brown had texted me about some match play, which was terrible yesterday, but we both agreed. You were like, I think Scott's going to win this.
Yeah.
I was like, I do too. And Scott was awful.
I thought it'd be Adam Scott.
A lot of people were awful yesterday. I love a little controversy that you get in sports. I mean, one of the reasons I watch sports is the drama of J.J. Spaun winning on Father's Day with his kids there. Usually they're not on the trip. And he's even told a story afterwards. He's like his oldest daughter. She gets a treat when he wins. And sometimes he just lies to her that he won that day because when he gets back home, she asks, Daddy, did you win? And sometimes he brings her a treat saying yes because he's only won one time.
Yeah. This is smart. Remember when I used to give the kids candy from the Rams?
That's right. That's right.
They would sit there for
Yeah.
weeks when the Rams were awful, and it kind of soured my daughter on the Rams.
Yeah, so he would lie and give them treats acting like he had won. Well, they got to see it yesterday, so that made it a little more special. But I love the controversy, and we had it with Sam Burns, who was part of, I think at the time, Brownie, 4 or 5-way tie at +1 or something.
He was in the lead, yeah.
Yeah, for the lead. It was a tie, and Burns had a lie that he had not 1 but 2 rules officials come over and was looking for casual water is what I call it, looking for a relief and where he would pull it back and get a drier spot. And Brown will explain it, but here's the video of a reporter on the course after the shot that walks out to where the ball was sitting and shows you how much water. Watch this thing squirt like a fountain as it is. That's the ball he was wanting to get replaced. And Brown, walk us through that. Should he have gotten a ruling on that?
So that's Kyle Porter, by the way, who's a really good golf follow. If you are a golf person, go follow Kyle. He's a good dude. He's been on before. All right, so what most golfers call that is casual water. The rule book calls it temporary water, and essentially what it is any water that pools outside of a hazard, okay? So this is not inside a hazard line. It's outside the boundaries of a hazard, so you're not supposed to have water pooling there, right? And that's going to happen when you have rain. I guess maybe a broken sprinkler head or pipe could cause it, but it's normally going to be rain. The problem is, Jim, it becomes subjective because the way the rule is worded is if you see standing water with a ball in it, or your stance is in it, then that is what they call temporary water. You get the nearest point of relief, no closer to the hole. But there is a carve-out in the rule where if you stand without excessive force and water comes to the surface and stays there, then that also is considered temporary water, or casual water as we would call it. So when you look at Kyle's video, that's what Kyle is doing. The question is, do you think water stays there when it comes to the surface?
I do. If when me and my buddies are playing, I definitely pull it back from that.
Any weekend golfer gets relief from this.
I'm pulling it to dry land walk, and I'm wiping my ball off.
Yeah.
I'm cleaning it, and I'm placing it down, and it's going to make me hit a better shot. And that's what they were trying to avoid, right? To give him an advantage.
I mean, that's the purpose of them ruling, yes, is that he doesn't take unfair advantage of the rules. But, I mean, I look at that, and then when he's making his practice swing, and it looks like Old Faithful's going off.
Right.
I think it was SEC fatigue. They didn't want an SEC guy to win this thing.
He is an LSU guy.
I mean, there was a good time on the course yesterday where you thought Burns had this thing wrapped up.
Yeah, I know. There were several people. I mean, there was like a 30-minute window where it felt like the announcer was like, this putt is for outright possession of the lead, or this putt's for a share of the lead. It was like every putt I was watching was for the lead.
Well, his whole camp, friends that hadn't shown up. Yeah, I'm sure they were. Well, I would guess nobody sent the text.
He worked for a little bit with our buddy Brett McCabe. So this is a guy that Brett has worked with some. Brett works a lot of tour guys. I think the closest to the lead that Brett has worked with recently is Cam Young. But he had worked with Sam Burns some. So I was kind of pulling for Sam. I like pulling for Brett's guys.
Back to bad and interesting lies. Was it Spaun on 17 that hit it in that divot?
No, he drove 17. Sam Burns was in a divot a little bit later on, and that's a whole nother.
Yeah, but what was the late divot? I thought it was Spaun was in one.
I don't
Maybe
remember
it was
him.
16. I don't know.
It could have been on 16. That happens a lot. Again, when you're one of the last groups out, those players are so good, they're all hitting in about the same spot. So especially on shorter holes, you're going to have a lot of divots in the same area, right?
Me and my guys roll them out of the divots.
Yeah, they don't do that on tour,
They don't
Jim.
do that on tour. You can't do that.
So who apparently had a meltdown in the clubhouse yesterday?
That was Wyndham Clark.
Was it bad?
Well, I mean, he tore up some of the lockers.
Oh,
Which is pretty bad for him. I mean, that is an old club that prides themselves on keeping things the way they are, the way they have been over they don't replace the bench in the locker room. There's a bench in the locker room because back in the day when the old players wore spikes, they would lean down and tie their shoes. And there's like, man, those spike marks belong to Bobby Jones and Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus. We're not replacing that bench. So this is a place that prides themselves on the history of golf. It's like a museum in there. And he went in and tore up the lockers.
Was he in contention? I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't remember when Clark.
Yeah.
I'd kick him off the tour.
There it is right there.
Yeah.
You'd kick him off the tour?
Yeah.
I think that's a bit extreme.
I mean,
it's
first of all, it's not a tour
you guys
event.
saw Hatton, and Hatton kind of had his mini meltdown out on the course.
Yeah, he runs hot, Lance.
Yeah, well, I could tell. That's not a great look, but when you take it from the course inside, I don't know what had to happen to Wyndham Clark for him to do that.
Yeah, and you start damaging not just someone else's property, but at a historic place like that. Now, that doesn't look like that's going to be particularly difficult to replace. But still, that's pretty bad for him.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
No.
I mean, you see this like at even if you saw this at a Christmas party where somebody blacked out and put a hole in somebody's wall, you're like, that's terrible. This guy's sober coming off the course.
I know.
I don't understand what happened.
And you're in someone else's home. You're a guest there, and it's kind of a museum of sorts.
I'm with you, Brand. Looks like he just kicked in some netting.
Well, he did. Again, that's not going to be difficult to replace, but
I just want to know what happened.
Yeah.
It's not difficult to replace a window either, but,
I wouldn't give him his check.
So you go for kicking him off tour just withholding his check?
I would kick him off tour and withhold his check. I just you should read the fine print, buddy. You damaged it. Now you got to pay for a whole remodel.
So there was a golfer earlier this year. I think it was Adam Hadwin, Canadian golfer, and I can't remember where they were on tour, but you'll like this story.
I mean, golfers getting mad. I mean, come on.
Oh, you've never got mad on a golf course?
Yeah, but I mean,
I know I have.
These guys get.
I did this weekend.
These guys get cars, free food.
Oh no,
free
they live
drinks.
the life.
I mean, they're not out there bashing their skulls in like NFL players. At least is it Antonio Brown?
Yeah.
When he goes crazy, we at least think, okay, he's had his skull rattled a few times. He's probably, suffering some brain injuries. That's why he's acting the way he's acting. These guys they're pampered country club dudes. They're getting mad.
I see what happened. He missed the cut by a stroke. He bogeyed 18 on Friday.
Well,
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume after bogey, and I don't know how it played out for him.
So no paycheck for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no paycheck for you to withhold.
Sorry, he's working at a deficit this week in my opinion.
Damn, he's an American too. How about that?
We've got a lot of people in America that act bad sometimes.
Adam Hadwin, a maintenance or a Canadian player, earlier this year got pissed on the course and he slammed his club down on a sprinkler head and it broke the head and water started.
I saw that.
You remember that?
I saw that.
And so not only did he pay for the repairs for the course, that next day he also ordered a taco bar for all the maintenance crew at that course and bought them beer. Yeah. So, I mean, that's a cool way of, you lose your head a little bit and you do something nice for people. I would hope Wyndham Clark would come back and maybe like the locker room attendants or whatever, buy them dinner or something like that.
I would have quickly tweeted if I was on that maintenance crew, are you just stereotyping that we're going to like tacos, dude? How about buying us a burger bar?
Everybody likes tacos.
I mean, come on, man.
Muchos gracias, but.
I mean, come on, dude. Okay, a couple sponsors, and then we'll get buckle up for you Auburn fans out there. I'm about to mention Nick Saban on two different things that do not involve Alabama football, okay?
Saban lives.
So buckle up because I know it drives you guys crazy when I tie Nick Saban into something that is not Alabama and Nick Saban related. Two of those right after we tell you about great folks like our friends at Woodhouse. Tell us about Woodhouse Day Spa.
Hey, just the gift of relaxation. Hopefully you got it for Dad over the weekend. If you maybe forgot to get Father's Day present, you can do it still 24/7 at birmingham.woodhousespas.com or just stop in yourself. Check out that beautiful location right there at the Summit Shopping Centers. Go see Stuart, the fine folks there. Tell them the Next Round sent you. You can choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. Again, you can order 24/7 online, including those gift cards, birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
Hey, can I tell you what I ate for breakfast yesterday? So I went over to Anniston and played in Anniston Country Club does a father-child tournament every year, and my dad and I play in it every year, and it's a blast. Anniston does a tremendous job with it, and I was on my way over yesterday.
They let you still play in the child part of this?
Well, they used to call it the father-son, but then guys started bringing their daughters, so they have to call it the father-child. I mean, what else would you call it? Father...
I don't know, but like...
they just should call it the Father's Day tournament. But anyway.
Like, is there some guy rolling out there with his 11-year-old?
Well, yeah, but they're in a different division. They flight it based on, I'm playing with the adults, Jim.
I thought you were like Tom Brady beating up on those kids in the Saturday Night Live skit.
That was Peyton Manning. That was such a good skit. Yeah. They let me go to the pool afterwards.
Kiddie pool.
I got off the Oxford exit over there to head up to Anniston Country Club, and I swung in with our friends at Bojangles, and I got one of those Bowberry biscuits with the chicken fillet in the middle. You get sausage or chicken.
How good,
Lance? It's incredible. Have you had it, Tyler? You're shaking your head.
I have. They're delicious.
It's the Bowberry, which is their blueberry biscuit cut in half. And they put the chicken fillet in there, and then they ask you if you want the frosting drizzled on it. I was like, are you kidding me? You're asking me that? Oh, my God.
Did Randy Brown get one?
He did not, because he was coming from Jacksonville. He was meeting me there, so I didn't get him one. Or my brother. My brother was there, too. I highly recommend that for breakfast. Highly, highly, highly recommend that. It is phenomenal. But you can go by there at lunch, too, and enjoy from sweet to heat the 7 sauces that they've got right there at Bojangle, and nothing pairs better with them than hand-breaded tenders. If you're looking for sweet, try honey mustard. Add some tang with barbecue. If you want some heat, try creamy buffalo or peach honey pepper. And if you're craving smooth and creamy, house-made ranch, jalapeno ranch, classic bow sauce ready and waiting. Head to Bojangles, order some hand-breaded tenders with your favorite sauce today. It's bow time.
By the way, another sponsor, our friends at Hamburger Heaven. Best pancakes in town. Hamburger Heaven.
I'm not going to doubt that. I've had them before. It's been a while, though. Did you have some this weekend?
Yeah, I had some Saturday morning, because they're not open Sunday. Saturday morning. I had a little dental issue.
Well, you probably saw our man Pete in there then.
I didn't see Pete, but I had a little dental work done on Saturday morning, and was starved because I didn't eat before that. And I was like, what can I eat that is not hard? And I said, pancakes. I can eat some pancakes. So I ran by Hamburger Heaven. They were delicious.
Yeah, we missed you Friday.
Yeah. Down at the landing.
Yeah, of course, right when we get in, 30 minutes before. We knew it was coming.
Yeah, you can see
it didn't stop the entire time we did the broadcast.
Unfortunately, Jim, with his tooth issue, was not able to make the trip Friday. But Lance and I sat down and did 90 minutes with the legend Herb Winches, that Scott will have out at some point this week. We'll give you a heads up on that on demand. It was a blast.
Better with a 3-man crew with Herb being in my place.
Some great Bear Bryant stories.
Yeah, Herb told some really good Bear Bryant stories. I'd never heard tell.
He was there for the 70s. So fantastic stuff with Herb. That'll be out very soon. Of course, we'll give you an alert when that gets out there. All right, here's a couple of Nick Saban references. One of them involves Rory McIlroy. If you watch this weekend, he was throwing clubs like Brown on the golf course. I mean, if Rory does it, Brown does it.
That's right.
Nick Saban used to talk all the time about handling success. Handling success. This guy, since winning the Masters in his career Grand Slam, has even talked about he's having a hard time getting motivated, being flat. And he apparently has been skipping media availabilities.
He has some, yes.
Which he's allowed to do.
That's right. He is under no obligation to do them.
Yep.
Some would say he owes it to the game. But
So he explains why he's been skipping being interviewed by these guys, and then he ends with the comment that makes you wonder if he's going to handle these next few weeks, months, or maybe years of his career very well. Here's Rory McIlroy, who has been disengaged since winning the Masters.
Yeah, I mean, that was a part of it. That was a part of it. But it's not as if, like, at Augusta, I skipped you guys on Thursday. So, it's not as if it's not out of the ordinary. I've done it before. I'm just doing it a little more often.
Do you feel like you've earned a break?
I feel like I've earned the right to do whatever I want to do, yeah.
I mean, I like the honesty.
Now, let me put into context that last question. Do you feel like you've earned the right? Basically, the question was, when Liv split off and they were trying to pick off as many pelts as they could from the PGA Tour, you stood up for the tour and said, I'm not doing it, and I don't think it's right, and I think everybody needs to stick around, and the tour is still the place to be. You were front-facing. You battled Liv for the tour. Do you think you've earned the right because of that to be able to do whatever you want to do? And you just heard Rory right there basically say, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys would agree with that. But
yeah, I mean,
again,
I'm not a golf purist.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I do.
Well, it's not a golf purist. It's a sports thing or an individual
Yeah,
thing.
but I'm just saying, like, there are some athletes, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, that aren't as accessible as some other guys.
Yeah, and
it's just the way it is.
There's somewhere, I guess it's only a coach that would get fined. Well, no, I guess players get. Marshawn Lynch, I'm only here so I don't get fined.
I just remember Tom Brady would do that Jim Gray podcast when he was playing at the end of his career. I don't really remember him doing other interviews.
Oh, every week he'd walk to the podium and get interviewed by the media. Yep. He'd do
he'd do a press conference.
Press conference every week with the Patriot media after a practice.
I'm talking about like
post game with Tracy Wolfson. Yes, he would do it all the time.
Maybe,
and he's the GOAT.
Well, so you're saying Rory's wrong here?
I'm saying, I mean, wherever his mental state is right now, I hope he gets out of it. I just don't like people that says, yeah, I think I've earned the right to do whatever I want. I never do like that. I feel like I've earned the right to do whatever I want.
That is a really bold statement.
It is.
I mean, I would say
when you've got a career Grand Slam.
Yeah, and you have to admit now, the tour leaned heavily on him.
Yep.
Heavily on him to try to stem the tide of all these guys that were jumping for the money.
Did that help Rory's popularity with golf fans in America? Greatly.
For the most part, but now there were some that thought he went a little too far, and it got really personal.
Yeah.
But I think Rory's always been very popular. But yes,
greatly.
I don't think I heard it.
That doesn't sell well with the populace.
I thought Rory was going to bring up Nick Saban. I was like,
no.
How did McIlroy bring up Nick Saban?
To the College World Series, more on the actual happenings there. Coastal Carolina has won 25 straight now. They're one win away from the championship series. They'll play again on Wednesday. Arkansas, Murray State. Murray survived the losers bracket. They play tonight. UCLA and LSU still unbeaten. They'll try to get to where Coastal Carolina is. Louisville 1-1 with Arizona. They eliminated Arizona, rallying from a 1-1 score in the 6th inning, and they beat Arizona 8-3. Their head baseball coach is Dan McDonald here, and he has a ranting that's caught on video. We can't play it to you because it's part of the broadcast. And if you watch the game, the broadcast was out there. He is chewing and challenging his players to don't wait, and think about these next 4 innings tonight, basically. He's just chewing them out about missing your opportunity. And he gets asked about it in the postgame because they rally and score 7 runs and eliminate Arizona and stay alive in Omaha. And this is what head coach Dan McDonald of Louisville said about the mid-game chewing of his team to encourage them to finish strong.
I can bring the Saban out of me, with the best of them. I mean, that's just, as a coach my age, that's just who I grew up watching and admiring, the Krzyzewskis and the Sabans and the Parcells, and just, and so I definitely have a little bit of old school in me. And I love on the kids. They know I love them. But as I've always said, man, they see my best and they see my worst. And when I'm not happy, they're going to know.
Still alive there. And if you go back and look the video, it's all over the internet. Him chewing them out mid-game. He had that face that looked like Saban there.
Well, just because in this segment we were talking about the interview with Herb Winches, and we were talking to him about how different today's athlete is, because if you get on their ass enough, they tap out. They're going somewhere else. Hey, I can make the same kind of money or more, and I don't have to get yelled at. So it's a different world. So I do love the fact that you have some coaches that are still able to do that.
It's just funny. Like, somebody asked me about this about Charles Barkley, because Charles, a long time ago, I think Lauren Sisler, our friend, set this up or was involved in this somehow when Charles went over and interviewed Saban. And somebody brought that up to me randomly not long ago, and I'm like, competitive people love other competitive people because they always feel like they can learn something from them. And I'm like, Charles is a competitive person, and he can appreciate looking at somebody that is competitive and successful and try to learn from that and try to admire that. He sets aside the fact that it's Alabama or Auburn. He doesn't care about that. He's embracing that. And it's just interesting to hear some of these coaches, totally different sport, right? Baseball and football, there's no crossover there really, except for the fact that coaching is coaching, right? And you look at a Mike Krzyzewski and Nick Saban and Bill Parcells, and you say, what do those guys do? Those guys were all known as pretty hard edge guys, weren't they?
They were, yes.
I mean, Parcells and Saban are from the same tree. I mean, they're basically father and son almost. And then Krzyzewski coached basketball the way Saban coached football. I mean, those guys all have a hard edge.
Yeah, I mean, Bob Knight, who was Krzyzewski, one of his mentors, probably a little harder. You don't really hear Bob Knight mention in these conversations anymore.
You don't, because it went over the edge with him. Like, we don't have record of Saban throwing stuff at people and things like that, or Parcells or Krzyzewski.
Have you seen the AI commercial? God, I don't know if it's AI or what, but I've seen a commercial where,
I hate that I have to question if it's AI or not, but it's all the time now.
It is AI because Bob Knight is dead, right?
Yeah, if Bob Knight's in it, it's AI. If it's new Bob Knight.
And so it's all some big moments from Bob Knight, but like instead of him going mad, he's doing it like he would have to do it today. It's like the kid he choked.
Yeah.
He gets down on one knee and he's like, man, your shoe's untied. You could hurt yourself. And he ties the shoe. And he puts his arm around the referee and says, man, anybody ever tells you you're doing a good job out there tonight? I mean, it's the reverse of what Bob Knight would have done.
So it's so obvious, even if he was alive, you would know that it's AI.
It would be a spoof.
I don't think anybody ever reacts, though, well. And I think this is where some of these coaches make an error if it's always that. Right?
Right.
I mean, at some point, you got to come in and love me up, too, don't you?
You got to.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's always just chew my ass, I'm going to quit responding to it at some point. It just loses its effectiveness at some point. And I think far be it from me. I've never coached a game in my life, but it seems like that's where some of these coaches mess up.
Well, I mean,
and you've heard from former players that Saban, as
to a different degree, it's parroting, right? Like,
yeah.
If you've talked to people that grew up really, really hard and never got any love at all.
That's right.
And, probably got to a point where don't even know, what the relationship with the parent is.
Yeah. Good Father's Day message.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. All right, 68 days away from week 0. When we come back, college football, big recruiting wins on the horizon for Alabama. Some 5 stars poised to pick Alabama, according to one service. We'll talk about that and get to our 40 and 40 countdown show, being brought to you by Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys.
Shunnarah.com is the website to go to. That is Shunnarah.com. You pay nothing unless they win your case with Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. Southern roots, headquartered right here in Birmingham, Alabama for more than 24 years. They've grown this to more than 150 lawyers, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members. They're elite trial lawyers. They've killed it. They've recovered more than $2 billion, maintaining Alex's core values: integrity, mastery, passion, and success. When you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. Shunnarah.com.
And our friends, Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. The weight loss felt good by the pool this weekend, to be out there shirtless and not feel like I had too much of a gut. Still some there, but not too much one as a flotation device. You can jumpstart your weight loss with Leslie and her board-certified team by going to the website, aplanforme.com. Aplanforme.com. It's Way to Wellness. There's no contract, no sign-up fees, and that first consultation is free, so you get details on what could work for you without paying any money. Just set up that first consultation at aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. Injection therapy to meal replacement, protein bars in a variety of different ways designed specifically for you. No cookie cutter plan. Aplanforme.com. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Think about the best summer nights of your life. How many of those were in a great t-shirt? Visit nextround.store to get the perfect t-shirt for the next perfect southern night. Nextround.store. The memories are waiting.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them The Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
As we all know, there's no offseason when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Alabama, join us over on covercrimson.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on covercrimson.com.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
All right, Auburn fans, I want you to become a member of thebarnauburn.com and join in on the fun. Whether it's recruiting discussions, off-season chatter, or the latest Auburn athletics news, we've got it all. Get $25 off your annual subscription when you sign up for your account at thebarnauburn.com today. War Eagle.
When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation states that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
We continue on the next round. We're about to talk some college football. I am going to take this opportunity to answer a question from the chat real quick because we've been asked this a lot, and we've been meaning to address it. Well, this is going to sound like it's very serious here. We've been meaning to address it, but we just haven't gotten around to it, and that's probably my fault more than anyone's. We put a shout out for Jeff from Anniston quite a while ago. Like, hey, Jeff, we'd like to hear from you. Unfortunately, right after we said that, we had not one but two phone systems fried by lightning. That is hard to do, but it has happened. And
had a lot of lightning.
We have. Well, I don't know if you noticed, it's rained a lot here recently.
We had a friend get struck 2 weeks ago. We were talking about it,
No,
and they
are you
reached out.
serious?
Yeah, I'm checking the email to see if I can talk about it.
Okay, well, we'll circle back to that. But unfortunately, one got fried. We had to order a replacement, and this,
Stop saying unfortunately, Jeff. Get to the Jeff part, and then go back to the unfortunate.
No, he would have told us if Jeff was dead.
I would have told you guys,
or if you knew,
if I knew anything. But just real quick, let me cut to the chase here. We replaced it. You can't just use a normal phone here. Okay. Replaced it. Got fried. The new one got fried. We needed it's just been a long. And then when we finally, you can't just use a normal phone. It's got to be a system to do what we do.
And then we had to port the numbers
That's
over.
right.
And
that
there was
the
a mix up with that.
So when we changed it, we had to port numbers over. So the number you actually call, 205-734-0923, 734-0923, that number would actually ring to the phone that we put on the air. I think we got all that behind us. We were hesitant to do this until all that was behind us because we don't want to alarm people about Jeff. I don't know. I hope Jeff's fine, but we can officially say now that if Jeff would like to call, I do believe everything is to the point we could get Jeff on the air.
I do believe we can.
Okay, you're confident with that, Tyler?
So has Jeff ever been in the chat?
Not that I have seen. I don't know that our Jeff from Anniston, the guy we would call Jeff from Anniston, I do not know.
Oh, there's some Jeffs in the chat.
There's some Jeffs there. I don't know about Jeff from Anniston. Yeah, Jeff is a popular name in the chat, as it turns out.
But could that Jeff be Jeff?
Not based on actions, I would say no. So anyway, if Jeff just wants to call and say, hey, I'm alive, that would actually be a great relief to us. We were very fond of Jeff, and I would love to hear from him. So all that to say, I think we're back to a situation, barring another lightning strike, that we're good on phones. 205-734-0923. 205-734-0923. Jim.
All right. The show being brought to you by our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. Before we do our 40 and 40 today, Storm Restoration Roofing want to remind you that if you get your roof struck by lightning,
don't do that.
Like we did a couple of times, Greg from Pell City can get up there and check everything out for you. A free no-cost roof inspection, 205-542-3531. 205-542-3531, or just look him up on Facebook, Greg from Pell City. That is his cell number, so you can text him if you don't want to talk, if you're shy like I am, or if you want to just bend his ear on a voicemail or talk to him in person, call that number up and get that free no-cost roof inspection. He does full roof replacements, handles storm damage. He does it all, locally owned for over 20 years. He and his wife run the company. He's got a son and a son-in-law and some crews there. It's just a good down-home, a local company. He's got a builder's license. He helped you with some small rebuilds there. And he's got a great relationship with the insurance companies. And trust me, that helps you a lot. 205-542-3531 or Greg from Pell City on Facebook. And Champions Boxing gets us to our 40 and 40 team today. We're at number 17.
Yeah, Champions Boxing, a great place to get the non-conventional workout. Get in, see Akash and Jake Melman, all of the great guys there. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. But this is a fantastic workout. Whether you're, stay-at-home mom, your teenage son needs something to do, a little focus, a little discipline this summer. Boxing for fitness and competition, all ages starting at 9 years old. 8 USA boxing certified coaches, not only in boxing, strength and conditioning as well. Anyone looking for that workout different from just throwing up a barbell, come check them out. Any former athletes looking to try another sport to compete in after high school or college, Champions can be perfect for you, and we're just a couple of weeks away from the 2025 World Police and Fire Games held right here in Birmingham this July. They are the official sports boxing coordinator, team and family-oriented, helps in teaching discipline and fundamentals. For more information, Instagram at ChampionsBoxingAL, Facebook at ChampionsBoxingAL. Check it out today.
Boy, you want a team that will get you here and a huge gap in between on expectations. And this shows you where a lot of you have them in our fan-voted poll on our preseason 40 and 40 countdown. Number 17 in our rankings, here are the South Carolina Gamecocks, rolling in at 17 to start the week off with another SEC team. There are 9 people that do not have them ranked in their top 25. That includes Lance Taylor, Jim Dunaway, and Taylor Korn.
I'm the only believer on the table here, huh?
Well, you and Forrester have them ranked. Brownie, you have them 21.
That's fair.
Forrester has them 17.
That's fair.
But we have viewers that have them in the playoffs. Cole Dunn, playoff team, South Carolina. Dave Scroggins, playoff team, South Carolina. Kevin Morris, playoff team, South Carolina. K.S. Redmill, playoff team, South Carolina. And Aaron Newsom, the great Aaron Newsom, playoff team, South Carolina. There are different opinions on this South Carolina team, and it starts with quarterback Lenora Sellers.
I love me some Lenora Sellers, and I think overall the most talented, at least guy coming back to me is Sellers. Will it all come together? I don't know. You know what scares me is that win total was at 6.5.
Is that the Vegas win total?
I think that is correct.
I think the Vegas win total is 6.5 for South Carolina, and you start to look at the schedule, Brown.
And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to play realistic best case scenario.
And I'll tell you if they're favored or not.
I've got 7.5 right
7.5?
7.5 right now.
All right, let's go realistic best case scenario. We'll skip South Carolina State and Coastal Carolina. We'll give them wins there, okay? But everything else you can't really skip. We got to talk about these. Virginia Tech, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta.
That's a win.
It's a win, and they're a decent favorite there, right? Vandy at home.
Yep, win.
So they're 3-0, but now they're at Missouri.
They're going to be a slight dog here, but I think that is a coin flip game.
It was a coin flip game in South Carolina last year.
I would say South Carolina is the better team, though, so I'll even give South Carolina a win on the road.
I was thinking about that game the other day because I don't know if y'all remember, but Klatt, the Monday appearance before, was so wound up about Eli Drinkwitz saying they were still in the playoff race. And if you remember, Missouri drove down and scored late. All I could think about was Klatt. I was like, Klatt is going to hate this post-game interview, but South Carolina came back and won it.
I'm give them Kentucky.
All right,
even
so 5-0?
Even I have them 5-0.
Right, so I'll give them 5-0. If they're not 5-0, they've got major problems.
Realistic best case scenario is at 5-0. Now we got a bye week, and now we're at LSU.
Now
I don't have them ranked, and I have them 5-0, but now LSU.
That's a loss.
Yep. Okay.
LSU's touchdown plus favorite. That's a loss.
Oklahoma at home. They ran Oklahoma right out of Gaylord Family Stadium last year.
This is a pivotal game. South Carolina is going to be a slight 1, 2, 3-point favorite, but I think Oklahoma wins the game.
It was a complete beatdown last year. Y'all remember that game, right? I mean, I think it was 28-0 at one point. I mean, that was an absolute. They beat the brakes off Oklahoma. Alabama at home.
That's a loss.
It's a game they almost won last year.
So we got them 5-3,
and they're at home, so that's good.
At Ole Miss,
that's a loss, 5-4.
Okay, so you've got them losing 4 straight. Y'all both do.
Yep.
And then bye week, they're at Texas A&M.
I think that's a loss, 5-5.
Me too.
We talked about Coastal. So
the staff's not coming out for Coastal.
Yeah.
By the way, I can't now. We didn't grab some plus 675.
You told me the other day you thought they were going to win the whole thing.
I know.
Clemson.
That's a loss.
Did y'all get them in a bowl?
I got them 6-6.
Yeah, I had them 7-5.
I'm just saying, we just immediately, these games last year, LSU, it was a controversial call that cost them that game, and we're just like, loss. Oklahoma ran them out of Norman last year. Loss. Alabama had a play with the clock hitting 0 to win the game in Bryant-Denny Stadium. Loss. I mean, we just give them all these losses.
Okay, this is where I'm going to contradict myself. The SEC is becoming to really look like the NFL on no given Saturdays at all. And the difference in these one-possession games is typically elite quarterback. I think Lenore Sellers has the most upside of any quarterbacks in this league. But these 50-50 games, I'm not saying they're winning it. So it doesn't make any sense where I am on this.
By the way, they beat
Maybe it's a South Carolina brand.
Beat A&M by 24. They beat A&M by 24. They beat Oklahoma 35-9. They lost in the last second to Alabama.
Oh, it's a brand thing,
and lost
Brown.
on a controversial call to LSU. And we've just said all those are losses.
It's a brand thing that I don't believe they're going to back up their success last year back-to-back years. I don't think they win all those close games.
Yeah, and we probably need to start I always say, man, I'm just not decided on where I am on Shane Beamer. Well, this is year 5. And it's a 7-6, an 8-5, a 5-7, and a 9-4. I mean, if it wasn't for Spurrier, we'd be like, damn, that is a really, really good run at South Carolina. And it still is. I just think what Spurrier did, winning 11 games in 3 consecutive years, will never be done again in South Carolina history. But, I mean, what he's doing is pretty strong.
I agree with that. Lenore Sellers as a quarterback. Bruce Feldman with an amazing story at the Athletic that's out today. If you're a member and want to go read that, he has him as a top 5 NFL draft pick in next year's NFL draft. Is he that good?
I think he is. Or I think he's got the potential.
Top 5 quarterback or top 5 pick?
Top 5 pick.
Wow.
In the NFL draft.
Well, I think.
I mean, if Anthony Richardson was...
That's a great point. We're always going to say that, aren't we?
And it never translated with Anthony Richardson Gainesville.
Yeah.
Look, it was a very small sample size, and it's been a small sample size for Sellers, but Sellers just has been a better quarterback.
I mean, a quarterback is so wide open. Like, I don't know that... I get the hint that you don't believe Garrett Nussmeier could be the overall number 1 pick, Dunaway.
I think he's my top quarterback in the SEC this year.
But I'm talking overall number 1 pick for the Saints.
I mean, he could be.
Yeah.
He could be.
Okay.
I mean,
Arch Manning could be.
Could be, but I have Nussmeier ahead of Arch Manning.
Okay.
I'm scouting him on as a college quarterback. I'm not an NFL scout.
Right. But we're talking in terms of Sellers being an NFL quarterback. I know how you feel about Arch. I think you would have Arch behind Nussmeier as well. But my point is, there's like no obvious guys.
No, but
I mean, Cam Ward wasn't the first overall pick at this time last year either. Keep that in mind.
His last 8 games, 16 touchdowns, only 4 picks. And that's not including the 4 rushing touchdowns. So 20 total touchdowns, only 4 picks in his last 8 games. So he just got better and better and better.
No, I was playing devil's advocate with Connor O'Gara when Connor came on, and I'm trying to remember the quarterback I compared him to. Do you guys remember by chance?
Sellers?
Yeah.
You compared him
Cam
to...
Newton.
No, it was the current quarterback last year.
A lot of people do. You compared him to
DJ Lagway?
No, I'll tell you who I compared him to because the numbers, hang on, let me double check and make sure I've got the right numbers here. The numbers are almost identical, Diego Pavia. And that was my only point was the numbers between he and no, it was Nico. It was Nico. I'm sorry.
That's what I was about to say.
Yep.
Nico.
Yeah, it was Nico.
Tennessee.
I'm looking right now. The numbers are almost identical between he and Nico.
But it looked totally different.
They look totally different. And that
Yep.
was the point I was getting to with Connor. Connor's like, Brown, if that's your comparison, you got to get better comparisons. And I'm like, I was just playing devil's advocate that we throw Nico away, and Tennessee fans in some circles are glad they lost him. And we talk about Sellers being a Heisman candidate. But their numbers last year, if you just look at their numbers, they were very, very, very much the same quarterback. But they didn't look at all alike.
Well, the good thing for Sellers is, I think we've talked about he's not going to sneak up on anybody. South Carolina's not. But, he's got an opportunity these first 3 weeks with Virginia Tech, South Carolina State, and Vanderbilt to be 3-0 easily and to really build the numbers up and just to have a ton of confidence going into that Missouri game.
Something tells me Virginia Tech shocks them in that opener.
Oh, that is. What's the point spread there, you said?
South Carolina, Virginia Tech. Where is that game?
It's in Mercedes-Benz. Sunday.
South Carolina, 5.5, 6.
Sunday afternoon kickoff.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked.
Boy, that'd
be a bad loss.
That is a tough way to start a year when people think you might actually break through as a playoff contender.
That would be a tough way to start. South Carolina in at 17. I have Lenore Sellers number 4 on my SEC quarterback ranking. I assume y'all had him in your top 5. Yeah, I'm not asking you to remember, but you had him in your top 5.
I did.
Right?
I had him on top 5.
The graphic we did for little T there. South Carolina in at number 17 in our 40 and 40 countdown. One team every show, brought to you by our friends at Champions Boxing. The show today also being brought to you by our friends at A+. Brownie, tell us about A+. One more thing before we get to the viewing menu.
That is the group that redid the master bathroom in the Brown home. You could see more. Scott is going to show you some before and afters of the master bath in my house, but you can see more. AlabamaBathRemodels.com. That is AlabamaBathRemodels.com. Brad Bell is the guy there, 205-422-1758, 205-422-1758. Brad specializes in master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. It's his specialty. Not the only thing he does, but certainly his specialty. And the reason I point that out is you are going to enjoy those rooms when you own your home, but when you go to sell your home, those rooms are going to bring back some of the value there because they really pop when you go to sell it. Brad is going to do your vision too, right? You're going to tell him this is the vision I want. He's going to see that vision through. He's not going to come in and try to sell you on some vision that is easy for him to do and he can do it and get in and get it out quick. He wants it to be something you love for the rest of your life in that house. AlabamaBathRemodels.com, AlabamaBathRemodels.com, or call Brad or shoot him a text and get him to come look at your job. 205-422-1758, 205-422-1758.
Do you guys remember back in the old days when there was a time when we'd go to the beach? It would start Memorial Day weekend.
Okay.
And we would all go to Publix or to Piggly Wiggly or to Winn-Dixie, and we'd look in the aisle to see if any of the football magazines were out yet.
Oh, yeah.
And you had to have a football magazine. We'd wait. We'd have Phil Steele on. We'd wait for that Phil Steele magazine to be delivered to our offices up at Jogs. And we'd pass them out, and we'd study them, and it was football season finally. The cover is out and now available. The Phil Steele magazine is out. That's the national cover there, the college football preview. There are regional covers as well, but those are the 5 stars that are on the cover of the Phil Steele 2025 magazine, 350 pages of hard copy there. The online version is out. The most accurate magazine for over the last 30 years. It just isn't the same anymore.
It's not.
Well, in my 25 years of doing this, last year was the first year that I haven't had a Phil Steele college football preview on the desk at all times for reference, because it is so easy to jump in and, strength of schedules and, just absolutely anything, rushing touchdowns against. The problem for me I've got 2015 vision still, but their font gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
It does. He adds years every year.
And I'm still on the regular font with the phone, but that damn font for Phil Steele,
it gets small.
I don't even know what the number is.
I'm glad you were going to say that, because I was going to bring that up. I was going to say everything's online. I even bought the online version
I'm just
one
talking
time.
about the font. I still like, I like having hard, tangible stuff. I can't read it, though.
But the last one I got, even with my glasses on, I couldn't read it.
Can't read it. It is impossible.
Well, some of it you can, but then some of it, like if you want to know, and this is where Phil makes his bacon right here, if you want to know San Jose State coming off a bye night game on the road, natural grass with a temperature below 30, he's going to give you he's going to give you them against the spread in that situation. And those are small, man. You really
embellish that a little bit, but that's Virginia Tech, South Carolina. What it will have, it'll have at Mercedes, and then it'll have basically 2 paragraphs.
Yep.
On this one line. And it will be like the last time these two matched up, 2002. Here's what happened. Here's ATS on neutral sites for both. But the font is so small, like you really can't read it.
I am so glad to find out I am not alone in an embarrassing admission, because I do this. Dat Cat in the chat room says, who else here on a printed piece of paper will reach their hands in and try to make the font bigger? Have you ever done that?
I haven't done it on printed. I do it on the screen all the time.
I have 100% started to reach to do it and be like, you dummy, I can't enlarge that print.
Have you ever done that on a picture on Instagram that you weren't supposed to like, and then you end up liking it?
Not supposed to like, but I accidentally liked one recently.
At 3:17 in the morning.
I accidentally liked one recently.
Post from 3 years ago.
I refuse to be this guy with the menu.
Oh, I
hate that guy.
I don't mind that anymore, because some of these damn restaurants are so, and especially a wine list, and it goes so deep.
I spend I make it look like I'll lay the menu out like this, and I'll make it look like I'm looking on social media. Then I'll throw a quick snapshot there, and then I'll zoom out and start reading on my picture, my specials or the menu that way. when I don't have my glasses with me. But sometimes the glasses don't work.
Jennifer and I went to an early dinner Saturday night. We didn't have reservations at our local favorite restaurant.
I'm starting to believe that's why old people go to early dinners. Because it's a little more light in the restaurant. You can read the menu.
We went at 5 and just sat at the bar because we didn't have reservations. There were no reservations available. And Jennifer, she kept joking about how old everybody, like, are we the old people now? We're 5 o'clock at a bar, and literally the people next to us, they got the flashlight out. And then Jennifer's like, don't look now, but a guy just walked in and he's on oxygen. And 100% a guy walked in on oxygen.
Were y'all at Piccadilly's?
We were not. It was better than Piccadilly's, but we were the old folks.
All right, let's get to our Michelson viewing menu today, brought to you by our friends at Michelson. We'll talk recruiting. Alabama on a roll. Auburn lost maybe out on a guy they really wanted. With a familiar name, all that coming up at the top of the hour. And we'll ask this question. Well, in fact, we'll do a blind ranking. Some of the biggest offseason moves in the Southeastern Conference. That coming up after we do the viewing menu, brought to you by our friends at Michelson.
Okay, we talk about that font from Phil Still. This has nothing to do with the 2015 vision. I've still got that. The distance vision is absolutely incredible. If you've been procrastinating, you wear the glasses, you wear the contacts, you're wasting money each and every year. I'm speaking from experience. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100, MichelsonLaserVision.com for more information. Make sure you ask for Amy. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have zero to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. For more information, MichelsonLaserVision.com.
So tonight we've got another AMC Screen Unseen event. The movie will be rated R, and it will go for an hour and 56 minutes. Now, the two movies that it could not be more different. So there's a lot of rumors saying that this could be 28 years later, the highly anticipated sequel to 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. And there are also...
They missed out on a franchise of going 28 months.
That's true. Why do we not do that?
28 months.
28 Days Later was great. 28 Weeks Later was good. Danny Boyle, I'm a big fan. Is Cillian Murphy back?
So reportedly he's not in this movie, but he will be in the next two movies.
Okay. I mean, if you like zombie stuff, this is maybe the best zombie movie I've ever seen was 28 Days Later.
So did they do 28 months? And
they did not do 28 months.
Why did they skip
actually
that?
Skipped it entirely. I guess because they waited too long to make 28 years later. So now it's like set decades after the last movie.
I'm all in on this. Not tonight.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. But the other movie it could be is a movie called Bride Hard. You've heard of Die Hard.
I have, yes.
Now welcome to Bride Hard. Badass secret agent Sam is tasked with one of her hardest missions yet, being a maid of honor for her childhood best friend. It stars Rebel Wilson, and she goes to like a bridal shower, and terrorists attack it or something. I saw the trailer, and it looked abysmal.
She lost like a ton of weight, right?
Yeah, she did. And it actually hurt her career because they were used to casting her as like the fat friend.
Yep.
And now she can't get that role.
Who did the All About That Bass?
Meghan Trainor.
Yeah, remember she was like, hey, you got to embrace your body
and
style.
And she lost like 150 pounds.
Yeah, and then she goes out and loses 150 pounds.
Yeah, you unembraced yours.
Right.
Let's see. Peacock has also announced that they are dropping all of the Jaws movies on their service today. So if you're in the mood for a good summer movie, you can watch Jaws. That's a good movie. And then you can sit through the sequels if you want.
So Jaws 2 was okay.
Mm-hmm.
Jaws 3 was awful. Jaws 4 was even worse.
You just skip right over Jaws 3D?
But we are 4 days away from the 50th anniversary theatrical release of Jaws. In some people's opinion, greatest movie of all time.
Some people do say that it invented the whole concept of the big summer blockbuster, getting everybody out to one movie during the summer.
So I love this last night. I got to choose a movie, which I typically do anyway, but all the kids were over for Father's Day, and I went with The Surfer from Nick Cage. Have you seen it yet?
I haven't. I meant to go see it, but it had a really limited release, so I didn't catch it.
It's well, now you can obviously buy it or rent it. And stream it, but I thought it was well done, very, very strange, but me and my daughter liked it, the boys didn't like it.
And then we've also got another release on Paramount Plus, a movie I was able to catch earlier this year called Love Me. It stars Kristen Stewart and Stephen Yeun, Glenn from The Walking Dead, And it's about a buoy and a satellite that fall in love after humans go extinct. It's very strange.
You say?
Yeah. It's very polarizing. Some people absolutely loved this movie, and then some people hated it.
Okay.
So, if you got Paramount Plus, give it a try. Flip the coin and see where you fall on it.
And that's what Tyler's watching tonight. When we come back, more college football with you. The show being brought to you in part today by our friends at New Life Art. Your chance to get a piece of college football history, whether it's Alabama, Auburn Works, or whatever. You can go check it out at danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com, promo code TNR. That includes the legend Nick Saban, 6 national championships, that portrait there, and all the other great works from Daniel A. Moore over the years. A little bit of history for post-Father Day gift for the sports room, something you want to buy yourself. Check it out, danielmooreart.com, promo code TNR.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at Scott Forrester TV.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation, 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you, 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Hour number 2 of the show, we're going to talk a little college football. We unveiled number 17, South Carolina, in the first hour in our 40 and 40 countdown. College World Series wrapping up this past academic year's college sports calendar continues today. Arkansas of the SEC battles Murray State, 1 o'clock today, elimination game for there. Arkansas lost the Saturday night tilt with LSU. LSU and UCLA plays the winner's bracket game tonight at 6 o'clock. The winner of UCLA and LSU move until a Wednesday game, or is it a Thursday? Maybe a Thursday. Maybe it's a Thursday date while they let everyone else eliminate themselves. That's where Coastal is on Wednesday. Coastal Carolina, the team that eliminated Auburn, they're the unbeaten team on their side of the bracket, winning 25 straight. Oregon State and Louisville play tomorrow in their elimination game. And we'll find out who survives Arkansas, Murray State to stay in it, and they'll play the loser of UCLA, LSU next. Typical double elimination stuff in Omaha. But 2 more games today. Arkansas and Murray at 1, UCLA and LSU at 6 as the College World Series goes. And Game 5 tonight, series tied 2-2 in the NBA Finals, 7:30 on ABC. Back at Oklahoma City, the Thunder minus 9.5. That gets us to our Hemp Hill Lock of the Day, brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. LT, tell us about Lance's Lock, lanceslock.com, before you tell us about Hemp Hill.
Look, Major League Baseball heating up right now at lanceslock.com. Again, match play was not good. We had a winning day match play on Saturday, not good yesterday. But we do have Game 5 available, NBA Finals tonight. We've got more Major League Baseball. Jump on and win with us. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. You guys are going to be shocked. I got to reach out to Andrew today.
Oh, we got another issue?
An upset sink issue that the boys did not tell me about. I got to get them to come out and check that out at some point today. Hey, look. Whether you experience any of the plumbing, which I'm experiencing right now, the heating or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
First of all, Florida had an unbelievable recruiting weekend. Billy Napier has it going on in recruiting. They picked up 3 4-stars composite, one of them a 5-star guy. This is 4-star wide receiver Marquise Daniel, or Marquez Daniel, however you want to do it. He picks Florida over Auburn. He's down in Tuskegee. I can't remember the name of the school in Tuskegee, the high school down there. It's a pretty big high school for us. I can't know if you remember, but he played, he's a receiver down there. He picks Florida over Auburn. That's one that I think a lot of Auburn people thought maybe they were going to get so close there. And in fact, the On3 Sports picture of him, his profile pics, he has an Auburn necklace on.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, so that's one to keep an eye on, a long way until December. But that was one of a big recruiting haul for Florida this past weekend. But the one that has a lot of people buzzing is the post from On3 Sports. It says Alabama right now trending to get not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 5-star guys. 5 stars. That Sendarian Morgan, a wide receiver, Xavier Griffin, a linebacker, Xavier Crowell, the running back, and Jairee Edwards, the safety, all 5-star guys. Josh Newberg says Bama could end up with the number 1 class if these trends keep trending up.
Well, 4
5-star guys. Bama's got 1 right now, but in the 24/7 rankings, they're down in the 50s.
Whoa, wait a minute. Alabama's in the 50s?
54, and Auburn's 55.
You know what I think is so interesting about this? You hear collectives, and obviously Alabama's collective's doing a really good job, however they are operating based on the fact that nobody transferred out after spring. But it is really surprising that you mentioned they could, at least according to this service, have the number 1 class without spending the $40 million that a lot of these, not a lot, a good handful, 6 to 8 teams are spending right now.
So they've currently at On3, Alabama's got 1 5-star. So if they got all 4 of those, they would have a total of 5. Nobody's got more than 2. And that would mean Alabama would have 9 or 10 total commitments at the moment, all of which are 4 and 5 stars. So, yeah, I could see they would be number one if that's the case, or at least number one for, right now.
Not a ton of commitments yet for Alabama.
No, as opposed to USC, who's got 29 already. We talked about USC the other day. They've got 1 5-star, 18 4-stars, and 10 3-stars. 29 total commitments already in this signing class for USC, who on 3 currently has in first place. But keep in mind, that's more of a volume ranking, right? They've got – that's based on – average ranking and all those things, but they've got the volume right now.
That's right. So still early in the recruiting process, but this is when between now and the kickoff of the season, you'll get a lot of your big 5-star guys who have announcement dates out there, and you'll see these announcements coming. And oftentimes, as many people like Kirby Smart has told us over the recent years, these kids basically are on the payroll once they make their commitment.
Do you think, and we never put any stock in this, in fact, we laughed at it, do you think enough water has gone under the bridge yet? Let's say they get all these guys, okay?
At Alabama.
Do you think enough water has gone under the bridge yet that those that were like, dude can't recruit in the South, are like, okay, I might have been wrong about that? Or most people don't ever admit they're wrong.
Before I answer that, are those 4 or 5-star guys, they're not all from the South.
Yeah, but I mean, you're recruiting them to the South. I don't really care where you get them from if I'm a fan.
I don't think it's going to matter if they are the top 3 class for the next 5 years if he doesn't win a national championship. If they're the top, in between 10 and 15 in recruiting, but they win a national championship in the next couple of years, then people are going to be like, oh, I was wrong. He can recruit. Yeah. It doesn't matter whether or not the recruiting looks great. It's whether or not they win a championship. That's all that really matters.
I would agree 100% with you on that, Lance. But, I mean, we're reasonable most of the time. We are reasonable people. Cedarian Morgan is Ben Russell. I'm going to try to do the ones you were talking about.
That's Alex City, right?
Was Anthony Jones one? Do you have the names again?
Cedarian Morgan, Xavier Griffin.
Xavier Griffin is Gainesville, Georgia.
Okay, not the West Coast. That's South.
No, that is very much
Xavier Crowell. Crowell.
Xavier Crowell is Jackson, Alabama.
Okay, we gave you 3 different pronunciations.
Okay,
there. So he's Jackson, Alabama running back.
I got Jackson right though.
Yeah, Jairee Edwards. You're trying to think of a different way to say it?
No, I'm trying to find him.
Okay.
That one I may not be able to find as quickly. Maybe I'm too low. Maybe if I went a little bit higher. But I mean, again,
he's from Maryland.
Baltimore. From Maryland. Thank you very much. Yeah, St. Francis Academy, Upper Marlboro. So you've got an Alabama, or 2 Alabama, a Georgia, and a Maryland. So there again, I'm just curious.
Boy, it would answer some questions, by the way, of him recruiting in the state of Alabama.
It's 2.
Yeah, because Hugh Freeze had made a point to sort of own Alabama, to sort of put a fence up on Alabama, keep those players.
But that is and I laugh at it when people say it. And if you'll remember, I brought up Brian Kelly. I'm like, nobody's more Yankee than Brian Kelly. You think he hasn't recruited in the South? I mean, they've recruited well at LSU. Brand is going to sell, man. I mean, it is. Alabama is a brand, and I don't care if Kalen DeBoer never set foot in the state of Alabama before he took the job. That brand's still going to sell.
Yeah, look, and he is a tremendously nice guy, very authentic, but he doesn't seem like one of those that's going to sit in a living room, take it over, and blow away with stories, right?
No, but boy, if you got some assistant coaches can do that. See, that's the whole thing.
Yeah, that's what
the
it's all about.
The assistants are the ones that are there more than the head coach. The head coach shows up for the glitz and glamour, right? The head coach is the office you go in when you're the parents. It's the assistant that's there, and that's the guy that does that, Lance. That's the guy that blows mom and dad away.
All right, so there's a little recruiting news. We're about to get the dry erase boards out, and we're going to do a little blind ranking using college football, and we'll use a story from The Athletic on the 10 biggest offseason moves. I want you to number 1 through 6 on your dry erase board. But The Athletic has the 10 biggest moves this offseason that will impact the SEC race. After LT tells you about the great folks at Company Distilling, you get Company Distilling now, the company whiskey right there in your ABC stores here in Alabama now.
Yeah, it is finally here, now available in Alabama. It is Company Distilling. You can not only find it in Alabama, but Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, South Carolina, available in 9 states. Whether you're picking a bottle for the weekend gathering or just exploring something new, Company Distilling is worth the pour. If you can't find it on the shelf, just ask your local store to order it in. Spirits this good deserve to be shared. Must be 21 plus to order or to purchase, Please enjoy responsibly. For more information, companydistilling.com/Alabama.
All right. So, dry erase blind rankings. Steal this from social media. They don't know what order this is going to come into. And
Six best or one best?
Six best.
Okay.
Six best. 1 through 6.
No, one is
the best.
Okay,
6
okay.
is the worst.
All right.
And this is from The Athletic. And basically, these are the 10 moves that that shaped the SEC offseason. 10 moves that shaped the SEC offseason. And I will start first with Tennessee losing Nico to UCLA and getting Joey Aguilar. How big does that impact the SEC season this year?
I'm going to go right in the middle here. I'm going to go third because even with Nico, I don't know that Tennessee was going to be able to get back in the college football playoffs. I am not sure that Aguilar is that big of a downgrade. Don't think he's an upgrade, but I think he's about what you were going to get with Nico. So I'm going to put that third.
Yeah, I'm going to go Nico fifth.
Okay.
To me, Dylan Sampson, I think the defense is still going to be really good. You lose a lot. I don't know who the receivers are going to be, but I do think Nico was going to be, I don't know if he was going to have the breakout a lot of people believe, but he was going to be better than Aguilar.
These are the
but I still don't think they were going to be in the mix.
Yeah. These are the moves that impacted the SEC offseason. Auburn signing a top 10 recruiting and portal class, both in recruiting and in the portal, but getting big classes coming in. Where do you put that impacting the SEC season?
I'm going to put it right behind Tennessee and Nico, and again, for a lot of the same reasons. I don't know that changes in terms of playoff, where I think now it changes a lot for Auburn, but I don't think it puts Auburn in the college football playoffs. I don't think they'll be a playoff team, so I don't think it's a huge impact to the conference as a whole.
I think it is going to improve the overall record. I think they go from 5 wins to 7, 8, maybe 9 wins.
That's big for Auburn, but big for the conference.
Yeah, but these are two teams that I don't, outside of, I don't know what the factors could have been to have them in the mix to get to a college football playoff, but I don't think that they're there yet.
5 5-star prospects, 5 other top 100 players, 7 of them on defense. The impact of Texas winning the high school recruiting crown last year, having the best recruiting class in college football. How will that impact this year's SEC race?
May regret this.
I'm
going to put it fifth just because I don't think that many freshmen are going to impact Texas overall.
I think they're going to have to. Outside of Ryan Wingo,
receivers.
Yeah, the receivers, you've got to have somebody step up. So I'm going to put it at 3 based on the fact that I don't think they're going to win a national championship. If I did, I would have it maybe at number 1. I think it could be that big.
I do think they're going to – I've picked them to win the national championship, and I got them at 5th. Boy, I hope you give me some good ones up here at the top, not only because I got one and 2
I know
still
one
wide
that's coming.
LSU winning the portal. Where do you put that?
I put that number 2.
LSU winning the portal.
Yeah,
I'm going to my shorthand is money signs now with this portal recruiting anything. But I'm going number 1.
That's
18
number 1.
transfers, 11 from Power 4 starters from last season, 10 who ranked among the top 150 according to 24 Sports. You put them number 1.
I'll tell you who's not high on them is our friend Chip Brown. I was doing his show last week with Chip and Zay out of Austin. And he's like, I don't understand. They've lost all of this and they've lost all of that. And I'm like, but they've got it coming in from the portal. And it's just one of those where it's not an exact science, but I've got a feeling it's like Indiana on steroids. I just think that it's all going to come together. And he did bring up the fact, he's like, everybody screamed about Nussmeier. You're talking about you haven't seen enough from Arch. When have you seen these career games from Nussmeier? And I'm like, I really haven't. He's just been pretty steady to me.
It's why, when I bring up, like I did with Jim earlier, him being the overall number 1 pick, I'm not sold on it either. I mean, if the Saints have the first pick, they're probably going to draft quarterback, so it's going to be somebody. But I haven't watched Garrett Nussmeier and think, that guy right there now, that's who I'd build my franchise.
I don't know.
That guy.
I think it goes back to, we talked about South Carolina doesn't have the brand to excite us. LSU does have that brand, and Brian Kelly has got the credentials, and this is the year it's got to come together. So I'm just banking on that. I'm banking on the combination of LSU and Brian Kelly.
I would just say this. LSU always has good receivers. Always, always, always. You can't find a time in recent history where LSU didn't have really good NFL-level receivers.
We used to say that about Alabama.
Oh, I know.
They bounced back last year.
And I think they're going to be good again this year, Alabama. They got good NFL receivers, but LSU always. I mean, Nick Saban himself Nick Saban himself on game day said, you shake the trees in Louisiana and receivers fall out. I don't know what it is, but that state just produces receiver after receiver after receiver. So you're going to look good as a quarterback there if you can halfway throw because you're going to be dominant at receiver.
Tough call for you here on this one. And this, again, from The Athletic. Impact moves that will moves in the offseason that will impact the SEC. Alabama, Georgia, and Ole Miss. Alabama, Georgia, and Ole Miss all passing on a portal quarterback. Nobody went out and got the obvious starter quarterback for those three schools. How will that impact the SEC race? Alabama, Georgia, and Ole Miss all have question marks, really, at quarterback.
So here's my conflict, Lance.
I'm going 6, by the way, because I think that these coaches, Lane Kiffin, great offensive coach. I think Simmons is going to be good.
Yeah.
Kalen DeBoer, great offensive coach. Ryan Grubb coming in. They didn't feel the need to go out and do it. And then Georgia, this is the weirdest to me.
Yeah.
But you saw how much, and this can go a long way, when internally a team loves their quarterback and really believes he's the leader. You saw it at halftime of the SEC championship game last year. Gunnar Stockton's got to have more talent than we believe. So I think it's going to have 0 impact.
So I had 1 and 6 open. I would probably go a touch higher than 6 on this. But here's the thing. To Lance's point, I do think Alabama likes Simpson. I do think Ole Miss likes Simmons. And I think Georgia wins with average quarterbacks. And average quarterbacks look really good at Georgia. Like, I feel like Gunnar Stockton is a poor man's.
You say average quarterbacks win at Georgia. Stetson Bennett ended up being an elite quarterback. He did. Say what you want.
An elite college quarterback.
Carson Beck last year was a very good quarterback.
Yeah.
They are going to have, and I brought this up with somebody, it's not going to be Joe Cox, but I really don't know what you get with Gunnar Stockton.
Do you think Stetson Bennett was more, I'll go 2 former national championship quarterbacks at Alabama. Was he more Greg McElroy or more A.J. McCarron?
Okay, he was Greg McElroy at the beginning of his career. Then in that second year, he was A.J. McCarron, and he ended up playing 2 alike in his final year. He was that good in his final year. He really was.
I wouldn't go as far as 2 alike, but he certainly got better.
Now, it did help.
You know, I think A.J. McCarron is the
the
best quarterback in Alabama history because of the wins. Not talent-wise, but talent and wins, leadership and all that.
Yeah,
that makes up a quarterback.
And that probably would be kind of the guy you would compare him to at Alabama. But I just remember Stetson going out there and some of the throws he made, just absolutely incredible.
I mean, both the national championship quarterbacks, I sort of agree with you. I think he was, for his first championship, he was more like Greg McElroy, who, by the way, doesn't get enough credit for being a really good quarterback.
Oh, in that 2010 season, Greg McElroy was fantastic.
Yeah, and he was good enough in 2009 for the national championship
season. The problem for McElroy is you started recruiting quarterbacks like Tua and Bryce Young.
Yeah.
And Mac Jones has just an absolutely incredible year.
Well, what really hurts McElroy a little bit is his box in the national championship game. He got the Jay Barker treatment a little bit. You forget some of the things Jay did because it gets magnified what Jay did. I mean, what do y'all remember, Greg?
Okay, but Jay was more Stetson Bennett. Jay went from, again, this is going to be a shot at McElroy. McElroy is a really good quarterback. But Jay went from more of the game manager to the end of Jay's career. Jay was winning games.
Jay's last year, he was really good.
I would tell you, and I do this all the time when I have to defend Greg McElroy's skill set. 2009 SEC championship
that's
game.
The point I'm making.
The guy made every big play to get them over the hump against a national championship quality team in Florida.
He was fantastic in that game. In fact, let me compare those 2 games. What do you think his national championship? Give me attempts, completions, and yards.
Were you talking about McElroy?
I'm talking about Greg McElroy. This is the Texas game.
I'm going to say he was 6 of 11 for 128 yards.
I think he was 16 of 21, 227. Wait
a minute. Were we at the same? I know you left at halftime, I'm sure.
No, I was there.
I'm talking about Alabama, Texas. You thought he threw for 227 yards?
Yeah. They got the early lead, and then they milked the clock. They set on it.
Jim nailed it. He was 6 of 11 for 58 yards.
58 yards.
I mean,
what was Garrett Gilbert?
300 yards.
Garrett Gilbert was 15 of 40 for 186, 2 touchdowns. 4 costly interceptions.
Okay, not as good as I thought he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of interceptions.
I mean, Alabama, in that game ran for right at 200 yards.
What
a
was
little
the time
over 200.
possession of that game?
I didn't come prepared to give you every stat on this one, so you're going to give me 2 seconds.
How many turnovers?
What's the average punting yardage of that game?
Attendance that night?
What's the average punting yards? Time of possession, Alabama. That's not right. That's 2019 to 16:21. That's not enough minutes for a football game.
Sure isn't.
Yeah, ESPN's got the wrong time of possession on there. I couldn't tell you.
A lot of downtime.
Yeah, I mean, who else had the ball? The officials?
No, that's that 6 of 11. That is impossible in today's football to win a championship.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know a team
if you
that
have
can
a
run
defensive
it that much.
touchdown and some turnovers, you milk that clock, you could do it. Back to our list. One more thing there. Brown has saved number 1. LT saved number 2.
I know.
I think I know what you're about to say, though, and I'm okay with it.
And
being
I don't
number 1.
think it translates to a lot of wins because the schedule's so difficult.
What do you think it is?
John Mateer.
John Mateer and Arbuncle teaming up and coming to Oklahoma.
I probably would not have it 1 in hindsight, but I figured you were going to go there. I probably would flip 1 and 2.
That's what
with
LT
LSU.
does. LT has LSU 1, Oklahoma 2.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about that. I think Mateer is going to be good enough where here's where I would say it's going to factor in on somebody else's season. And hear me when I say this. Somebody was going to go 10-2, but Mateer plays so well, it gives them that additional loss that maybe keeps them out of the postseason.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Those are some big moves leading into the SEC season. You can see them broken down at the Athletic there. Just a couple of ones I did not throw in there that they did. Missouri landing a top edge rusher and a 1,000-yard back. I don't think Missouri's going to be as good this year, but it's just my opinion. But they got an edge rusher and a 1,000-yard running back.
If they win 9 or 10 games, and I know a lot of people wouldn't want him to be the face of their program, but do you think Drinkwitz, A, would get an offer, and B, do you think he's looking to get out of there?
South Carolina retooling their offense. They mentioned Mike Shula there and some of the talent they brought in. Texas A&M filling some holes, and Diego Pavia returning to Vanderbilt were the ones I left off that you can go read at The Athletic. One more thing to get to in this segment. Right after, LT tells us about the great folks at Odie's, where that Diablo sandwich is always waiting for you.
Diablo sandwich would be great for lunch today. Rodney Davis doing those things for almost 40 years now. Not only the delicious sandwiches, award-winning wings, fantastic burgers, ice-cold beer buckets, full of the Bud Light. Great place to go for lunch or dinner. Game 5 of the NBA Finals tonight. You can check it out either location, the original in Crestline, newest location in Edgewood. Get in, see Will Haver and that great staff. Birmingham institution, it's Odie's Tavern.
All right, we're about to do a tender moment again. I got to tell you what was tender for me yesterday. A tender moment. I almost teared up that breakfast. That Bowberry biscuit with the Cajun Chick-fil-A in it was terrific. Can't stop talking about it.
Stop crying over that and tell me about the tender moment.
Is it one of those you could eat 24/7?
Oh, I would eat that anytime, yeah. It's terrific. Bojangles, from sweet to heat. They've got 7 sauces that will add a little extra flavor to every bite. Nothing pairs better with the sauces than hand-breaded tenders. If you're looking for sweet, try honey mustard or add some tang with barbecue. If you want some heat, try creamy buffalo or peach honey pepper. If you're craving smooth and creamy house-made ranch, jalapeno ranch classic Bo sauce ready and waiting. Head to Bojangles, order some hand-breaded tenders with your favorite sauce today. It's Bo time, and it is our Bojangles tender moment of the day. Jim, make me cry.
How about this? Dylan Cardwell adding to his ring collection over the weekend. It's hard when you're 6'11", 7 foot, and you got to get down on one knee, but that's what Dylan Cardwell did over the weekend as he proposes, and she says yes.
Boy, on one knee, he is almost as tall as she is.
One knee, and he looks her almost eye to eye right there.
Yeah.
Beautiful location down on the Gulf Coast, and she said yes.
I never heard a single bad thing about Dylan Cardwell in his time at Auburn.
Nope.
And I would say...
And by the way, she is pretty tall because he is one of the biggest men in the SEC.
6'11".
And I don't have her name. I meant to write it down, and I didn't go back and do that pre-show. I don't know if you have it for us or not, but Dylan lives next to her, some friends of mine, and they just rave about what a great human being he is.
Never heard a bad thing about him, man. You can't say that all the time.
And when you live next to somebody,
yeah, you know him.
Yeah, most of the time, your neighbors at some point do something to get on your nerves,
right?
And to be there that long next to Dylan in Auburn, and especially him being a college kid and them being old, older. Excuse me, they're not old.
Is this in Auburn?
Yeah.
No, that's not that's the beach, Les.
Yeah, sweet coast there.
Imagine how well they could recruit if they had that.
Boy, Lake Martin looks really good today. But Dylan Cardwell, congratulations to him. Bo Tender moment of the day.
Can I ask Scott real quick, from an Auburn perspective, Scott, Dylan Cardwell's never going to be like on a Mount Rushmore of Auburn basketball. I would guess probably would never have his jersey retired. But is he one of those guys that either at Jordan Hare or at Neville Arena, they put him on the Jumbotron? Auburn fans will go nuts. They love that guy, don't they?
No doubt.
Yeah.
Universally, Dylan Cardwell's one of the guys that held that thing together for years.
And has the record for most games played in an Auburn jersey. Am I right about that?
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's impressive, right?
It
there.
is. Yeah. And again, I mean, I want to emphasize that you hear a lot of things and you never know what's true. There's not even one about him. You had to find out if it was true. Everything I ever heard about Dylan Cardwell was only what a great dude he was, what an amazing teammate he was, what a great representative of Auburn he was. Really likable kid.
And that's one of those that it's very believable because you don't hear that a lot.
That's right.
Like I do pause when I hear that guy's a jerk because it might have been a bad day.
It's just one bad interaction with somebody.
NBA draft tomorrow night, and we'll see maybe if Dylan gets his name called in the second round or when Janai goes or anybody else who hung around for the draft. A lot of people did not. But Dylan Cardwell, our tender moment of the day, getting engaged. When we come back, more college football for you, and we'll set the table for the NBA Finals, which rolls to a crucial Game 5 tonight, and 4 downs in the next segment as well. All that's still to go in the second half of the show that's brought to you from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studio. All the fun waiting every day at the Birmingham Racecourse Casino. But also football Saturdays and Sundays, a lot of fun out there. Make plans this football season to head out to the Birmingham Racecourse and Casino.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama-born, Alabama-raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Do you need some refreshed college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Roback's Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Roback has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at roback.com.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
No matter the occasion, the Next Round store has you covered with whatever you need. Head over to nextround.store and start filling your cart up now. When you wear your gear, make sure to let us know by posting on socials, and you might just end up seeing yourself during a commercial break. Go browse now at nextround.store and place your order before the break ends.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and
always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
There's no off-season at covercrimson.com. Sign up now and get daily shows plus behind-the-scenes intel that will keep your Alabama fandom rolling all the way up until kickoff. Follow Cover Crimson on all social platforms and sign up today at covercrimson.com.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, back with you now on the next round as we roll on. LTD and B with you on. Anybody want to guess?
Show number?
Show number?
972.
We
Very
passed.
close.
I thought we passed 1,000. Did we not?
No,
Did we do past 900?
974.
How many days until SEC Media Days? How many shows?
Is it going to line
we're on
up?
17 to no, because we're on 17 today.
We're 26 shows away from 1,000.
Yeah, so that'll be sometime, I guess, early August. Right
I
before
think
football.
what we should do, this is programming on the fly.
Oh, boy.
No, I think.
Or as we like to call it,
Every
business
day.
as usual.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
how we do it.
Well,
Let's do it.
we've been talking about our kickoff party, which we normally do in mid to late August.
Yeah.
I said we figure out a way to do 1,000 and celebrate the kickoff of the football season and do one big party with it.
If so,
1,000 is a big number.
So tell me this. So we're on 17 today, right?
Right.
So the first day of SEC Media Days will be 18, 19,
Right.
and we got to get to 26. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
So there'll be 5 that week.
Yeah. So that gets us to what, 22?
Yep.
So it's the end of the next week.
Yeah. 23, 24,
So it'll be the
25,
Thursday
26.
night of the
July,
next week.
July 24th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, are you counting the...
Jim is coming off vacation.
Yeah, I'm
according
coming.
to the
I'll be
calendar.
first day back from
Yeah.
vacation.
Okay, but remember, we're missing an extra day, 4th of July week, so have you counted that in there?
already factored in.
This is shows until SEC Media
Yeah.
Day. So, yeah, July 24th will be show 1,000.
I mean, I think it's worth talking about,
I'll
right?
put it on the calendar right here. That's an early kickoff party.
Save the date.
Well, I mean, maybe...
Let's just make it Christmas in July. Make it a Christmas in July party.
Well, what are we going to do with that?
We can all wear our Christmas stuff and give out gifts.
We could do a standalone 1,000, and then a month later we could do the kickoff.
That's right.
Is that the better way to do it?
It is.
I mean, Wilt Chamberlain
I think
did a
so.
standalone 1,000.
Wow, Jim.
He did.
Yeah.
He probably did 1,000 standing is more the way to put it, right?
Speaking of urological problems, our friends at UCA standing by to help you out. Urology Centers of Alabama, urologycentersalabama.com, the website. Prostate health, the kidney stones, and everything in between. More history in a second. 205-930-0920, 205-930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com. Prostate health, the kidney stones, vasectomies, anything that you need taken care of. And stay on top of your health, guys. Early detection, so important. Nobody better. 16 locations, 35 urologists, Urology Centers of Alabama, 205-930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com. Today also, 4 years ago today, was our last day at WJOX, our Jocks.
That's right. Today is the 16th.
I've never shown the video, but thinking that it might be my last day because y'all did more shows without me because I'd taken Leighton to Montana for her birthday.
That is right.
That's true.
And I remember going up because we knew a big day was coming from us, according to our representatives.
Our attorneys,
and
our agents.
So I remember walking up the back stairwell, and I used to always walk the stairs there and did a little video. This might be after, at that point, 23 years of being in one place, one employer, this might be the last time for me. So I did this video just thinking it was kind of a sad video too, and it's still never watched it again.
Is this so was this our last show, the 16th? I always forget this. Or was this because our last official day was the Friday after when the parties couldn't come to an agreement? No. Did that happen on Wednesday? You and I were at Shoal Creek when it happened. I'll never forget. Every time I play the 6th hole at Shoal Creek, I think about that moment.
No,
when
we went and played after.
No, but we didn't
show.
and we got word on the course.
Yeah, we did a show on the morning of the 16th.
That's right.
We went and played golf that afternoon because we were a morning show.
Yep.
And on the course.
On number 6.
Yep, it is over with.
It was our agent. I pulled the phone out of the bag, and our agents had texted and said, we need to talk to one of you ASAP. So I called.
Yeah, because he had outdriven me.
I had outdriven Jim, and he's over on the right side of the fairway. I'm down long way on the left, waiting for the green to clear, so I can go for it in 2.
I was staring at a bison in Yellowstone.
Lance was in Yellowstone, so I call, and they're like, hey, we're done. The negotiations are over. We've told them y'all are leaving. You know, they've given you options of doing a live show Thursday and Friday. We've told them y'all don't want to do that. You want to be done. They're going to play best of. They've already agreed to do that. And I yell across the fairway. I said, Dunaway. Dunaway looks. I go, he goes, we're done? I said, we're done. And Floyd Larkin, I will never forget this. Then one of the nicest human beings alive. Floyd Larkin.
He's great. I saw him this year out at the Regions.
Yeah, was our host that day at Shoal Creek, and he goes, he was aware of our situation. We had warned him it was probably going to go down while we were playing. He goes, guys, I don't know what to do here. We can go back to the clubhouse if we need to. And me and Dunaway were like, Floyd, we got nowhere to be tomorrow, man. Let's play till dark.
Technically, we're unemployed.
Well, you know, we had the discussion last week. We were meeting with a client. We were talking about COVID and, you know, this new strain that has come back out. And I think I might have had it a couple weeks ago. I don't know. And we're talking about how amazing it was that our country shut down for as long as it did and just different things that came out of COVID. And I said, only time will tell whether good or bad, but we don't do this without COVID.
That's right. No, not at all. Not at all. Because something happened that pissed us off that made us started thinking about doing this.
That's right. I mean, there was a...
well, I mean, it was just a simple thing. Hey, extend our contract one year.
Right. There was
nobody local. I mean, everybody local was always nice.
Fine, yes.
Yeah, I mean, and look, and even locally, we were working to get a deal done with Jocks where we were going to have a true partnership. Yep. And locally, they loved it. And regionally, they loved it. And then you start, and this is the problem with corporate and what we do here, it is to have the autonomy to be able to call our shots is great. But it got to finally...
New York City.
Yeah, one of these guys, and he's like, no, I don't like that.
And that was the decision that prompted the phone call to us on the golf course to say, we're done.
That's why we kept working past our contract all the way to June 16th, because everybody local wanted to do it. Everybody regionally wanted to do it.
And so
one guy in New York City said no.
Nope.
And I still remember his name. I
do.
I still get confused on the dates because even when y'all left, remember I did the transition for sales. So I worked a full another month.
Yeah, it was our last show was the 16th. And they gave us the option even, and this is actually kind. You don't get this a lot in this industry. When we told them we were leaving, they're like, you can do 2 more shows, you can do whatever you want. And we just didn't really want to do a goodbye show. I just don't like the way they sound, everybody calling up, either saying good riddance or, boy, Jocks is screwing up. My fear was it was just going to come back looking bad on Jocks. And it had nothing to do with Jocks.
That's right.
I mean, this was, like we said, way above Jocks. So I didn't want that to happen. I just didn't want to do it. So they did 2 best ofs. And we were gone.
Yeah, it's amazing how many different opinions, because so many people didn't know what was going down. And then you've got, there's a contingent that's like, oh, you guys are greedy for leaving. And there's the contingent that is, I can't believe they didn't keep you. Yeah.
Can't believe they fired you.
I mean, it was all over the place, and it still is, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, 4 years now later, I thought we'd be back doing this with radio. I thought we'd also be on the radio too. I always thought we'd do radio too.
Yeah. Never say never, right?
Yeah. Never say never.
You never know what's going to happen. This thing's taking some wild twists and turns.
Yeah. But I joke up here all the time with these guys. I always got voted down something to 1 on. I'd always bring it up once we'd made it that first one year and we own it. I was like, now let's factor back in with a little radio, and it would always be, Jim, you're old. We don't know. No, Jim, you're old. And
no,
it was something to 1.
If it benefited monetarily,
right,
we would do everything in our power to do that.
Yeah, there's
you're the guy that never really looks at dollars and cents.
I don't. I'm a creative, the creative mind here. I can tell you stories, LT. I told Brad one earlier. Let's do 4 downs. It is brought to you by our friends at Gutter Cap getting you ready to clean those gutters one more time, cap those gutters, and then you never have to worry about the gutters again. That's our friend C-Stu and Gutter Cap.
Yeah, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's a dirty, dangerous job. The last thing you want to do is get on the roof. You get the ladder out, you slip, you fall, you snap the neck and die. No good to the wife or kids. Call Chris Stewart. Tell him the Next Round sent you. He is going to hook you up with an absolutely free estimate and a great deal from our friends at Gutter Cap in Birmingham. 205-823-2212 or guttercapbirmingham.com.
First down.
More total touchdowns this year, Lenora Sellers or Jaden Maeva at USC? Going East Coast, some people call it USC. West Coast.
I see the connection now. I would.
Lincoln Riley, quarterback.
Yeah, I think I'd go. I think Sellers going to have a good year. I think Maeva is going to have a more statistically productive year, maybe not a better year or a more impactful year, but I think statistically he'll be better in Lincoln Riley's offense. I will go with him. And I know Sellers is really, really good. And I know this sounds like a local punchline. It is not. Mike Shula is his offensive coordinator. And Mike Shula has never had prolific offenses in the SEC. So
I think I would go Maeva too.
Yep.
You're going to go Maeva as well?
And I think Sellers is much better. God, I'd be so excited if Sellers was USC's quarterback.
I'm going to go Lenore Sellers because I think Longstreet is the starting quarterback at USC before the end of the year.
I hope that's not the case.
Wow, so you think Maeva doesn't even keep the job?
Yep. Their 5-star quarterback from Corona, Adeline, California, the big recruit for Lincoln Riley. I think he wins the job before it's said and done.
USC has had a history of playing like early on quarterbacks. JT Daniels, Matt Barkley, just trying to think back. So it wouldn't surprise me, but if that does happen, that means Maeva has turned it over and they've lost some games they should.
The guy's a legit 5-star quarterback commitment to USC, a Lincoln Riley recruit. A lot of things to like about that guy.
Second down.
More wins this year, South Carolina or the Carolina Panthers?
Well, I really think Bryce Young, after his benching, played pretty good football in the last few games.
Played great football.
And they continue to surround him with weapons. I think their coach,
Dave Canales,
who was at Tampa Bay and did a great job for 1 year, he and Bryce started to learn what they have in each other. And it started to click at the end. And as I said, they continue to get more weapons. I could see them winning 7 or 8, depending on the Falcons.
I think this is going to be really, really close.
I do too. I'm going to go the Carolina Panthers by 1 over South Carolina, but likely a tie in my opinion.
Yeah, this is one of those where I've got to be consistent. I've got Carolina 21, the Gamecocks, which means they're probably an 8-win team. Yeah. I don't think Carolina, the Panthers, can get to 9 wins. It's probably 8-8, which is most 4-down questions when we start doing this.
I tell you,
I think I will go Carolina Gamecocks.
It would not shock me though if Carolina went 9-8 and won the South.
Possible.
I mean, the Saints are not going to win the South. Right?
Would you say this though? Would you say Carolina has a better chance at winning 9 games than South Carolina has of winning 10?
Yes, I would. With that South Carolina schedule we did earlier, yes, I would.
Third down.
College football playoff first. South Carolina, or I'll give you any team from California that is not named USC. So Cal, Stanford, UCLA, San Diego State.
This is a story we would never get to. I'm only bringing it up because Lance brought it up, and there's an interesting tie to it, I guess. Not tie, but the Cal athletic director is stepping down. I don't know if he's going somewhere else, retiring or whatever. Don't really care, but SMU, Cal, and Stanford have all come to the SEC, and all of their ADs have left. Yeah. I don't know if there's just total coincidence to that. I mean, there was obviously an issue at Stanford with the football coach, right? I mean, I get all that, but it is a little bit weird, isn't it, that all 3 of them came to the ACC together, and within a year, all ADs are gone.
Yeah. Well, I feel like at Cal and Stanford, they're catching a little bit of the blame of why were we not in a position to be better,
right,
in a better situation to where we were more attractive to the Big Ten or the Big 12.
Right.
It's almost like, were you guys asleep at the wheel and didn't see this coming and didn't have us in a position ready to go?
And SMU's not the same because they literally bought their way into the ACC.
That's
They
right.
wanted to be there. It wasn't just like, oh my gosh, we got to be somewhere.
I'm going to take South Carolina, the Gamecocks. Most likely team to get in there from the state of California is going to be as a group of 5 representative.
San Diego State?
San Diego State.
Wow. Boy, that'd be a long shot, though.
Yeah, I think I'll go South Carolina.
I think I will, too.
Yeah, don't feel great about it.
I don't, but the rest of that California bunch does nothing for me.
If you take USC off. If you kept USC in, I would have said the Trojans.
Yeah, I would, too.
4th down.
So Justin Jefferson, 26 years old today. Ultimately better career, Justin Jefferson or Justin Verlander? Jefferson, probably best receiver in football. I don't know who, with him being a Minnesota Viking, if he ever wins a championship. I mean, Verlander has just had an incredible career. I would have to go Verlander.
Who was the Jefferson that helped Alabama win the 2011
Jordan Jefferson, the quarterback?
Jordan Jefferson, the quarterback. Should have gotten a national championship ring from Alabama. He was such a mediocre mid-quarterback at LSU.
He was exceptionally bad.
Les Miles should have gotten one.
Yeah, Les Miles should have gotten one for not finding a better quarterback.
You remember T-Bob's old man Bobby in the post-game press conference just grilled Les Miles about that offensive game plan.
Yeah.
Didn't y'all say he was kind of heading in a bad direction in the press box?
No, that was Bama LSU in 2012. He was asked to leave the press box.
Yeah.
Is that a bad direction?
Not headed in a bad direction. The direction was out the door.
In the first half.
Yeah.
And I think he was down here. I think I was 2 seats down from him.
Yeah, we were both very close to him. Jim and I were not sitting together.
That wasn't the night you got threatened, was it? That was Ohio State, Alabama.
Yeah, that was at the Superdome, Ohio State, Alabama.
Yeah, that was the first ever college football playoff game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to ask a rather large former Ohio State Buckeye to sit down and stop cheering.
Yeah, he showed Jim his ring.
Yeah, very close to my face.
Yeah.
Wow. I think I definitely would take Justin Verlander over Justin Jefferson. As good as Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, Verlander now. Jefferson could be one day, but Verlander, based on his career, is hard to go against.
Throw Kate Upton in there too, right?
That was not a bad get. I haven't seen Justin Jefferson's significant other.
He probably could.
Yeah, I bet he does okay.
Can we go 5th down?
Yeah, sure.
Celebrity birthday didn't make it?
You don't have a button there.
Yeah. Tyler, it's like Tyler's looking for the 5th down.
Searching
there
for
is no 5th down. You got to do it. You got to do it yourself.
5th down.
Tupac would have been 54 years old today. Ultimately, the better career, the lasting legacy. Would you go Tupac, or would you go Shea Gilgeous-Alexander?
Oh, there's no way SGA gets to Tupac.
Well,
he's already won an MVP. I still think he's going to win his first championship. He's only 24
All right, but give me the
years old.
list of former all-time NBA players that are more well-known than Tupac. Michael Jordan. I'm talking about worldwide here.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan.
Still Larry Bird, Magic Johnson,
You think
Shaquille.
so? More than Tupac.
Well, not
Worldwide.
Larry Bird.
Kobe.
Yeah, Kobe.
Maybe Barkley, maybe.
Shaq. Yeah, it's not like
it's not a lot of guys.
Yeah,
so
and SGA probably
he ain't joining that
won't be.
list.
Said Magic, right?
Yeah, Magic, I think, definitely.
Yeah, I would go Tupac. I mean, Tupac, unfortunately passing away way too early.
SGA won't be shocked if he never wins another MVP and never wins another world championship.
Yeah. I mean, the odds are he probably won on that.
That's our 5 downs today, brought to you in part by our friends at New York Butcher Shop as well today. New York Butcher, a great place to go by and start the week off in the middle of grilling season right now.
Yeah, we got 4th of July. The Boston Butt Sale is going to be coming up. We'll give you information on that over the next few days. But what you want to do is reserve yours today at Hickory Smoke Fully Cooked, $42.99, available for pickup on the 2nd, the 3rd, and even the 4th. So reserve yours today, both locations of the New York Butcher Shop. Almost went in there Saturday just to pick up some meatballs, to do a pasta and meatballs. That's some of the great in-house fresh food, from the specialty items, the side dishes, of course, the fresh meats cut right there on a daily basis. Fantastic selection of fine wines and desserts as well. Get in, see Jim. Tell them the Next Round sent you. Rare quality, well-done service. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
Speaking of SGA, Game 5 tonight, 7:30 ABC of the NBA Finals. Tied 2-2. Oklahoma City got the big win back on Friday night after our show. 9.5 points.
That's crazy. When Dunaway told me that this morning, I said, "Dunaway, what's the line tonight?" And he said, "Let me look." And 9.5.
Again, I give Rick Carlisle a lot of credit. And the Thunder at times have played a little tight. They finally did get the cover and pulled away on Saturday night. But this is the third time in the last 15 years finals have had all of this through 4 games. 2-2 tie, 3.3-point differential or less, and shooting within 1.4% of each other. So what it's telling you through 4 games is this thing has been extremely close. That didn't seem like the narrative coming out of Oklahoma City when the Indiana Pacers had tied it at 1-1, but it only led a minute and 29 seconds of the 96 minutes of action.
Yeah.
A little bit different once it got to Indiana. But I still think Oak City's much better.
I do too. It feels like it's going to be win-win to end this thing in 6. But we could get Game 7 because they'll go back to Indianapolis for Game 6. But Game 5 tonight, if you're wondering, okay, when is that possible end of the series, Game 6? They won't play that until Thursday.
What if it's 7 games,
and
Jim?
if it's 7 games, they won't play that until Sunday. So
I want to see a 7-game
series.
So
there could be a week of basketball left. We're down to 1 week at least.
Yeah, it could be 3 games in the course of 7 nights.
That's right.
Yeah, and again, Oak City,
That's
to
a lot
me,
of time off.
Much better team, but Indiana has not lost back-to-back games since mid-March. And in the 10 instances they have lost, they're 10-0, obviously, in those back-to-backs.
And if you're keeping up with the Stanley Cup, the Florida Panthers won in Edmonton. They go back to home ice to try to wrap things up. They're up 3-2, and they've been unbelievable on the road in this Stanley Cup. All right, when we come back to college. Oh, by the way, Jordan Tiamu. I remember when they started the Spring League, we interviewed Jordan Tiamu.
It was a great interview.
I knew nothing about the teams. I said, Jordan Tiamu will win the championship.
That's right, but he never played for the Stallions, Jim, so how did he win a championship?
He never did until Saturday night. Jordan Tiamu won the championship for the DC Defenders. They beat Michigan 58-34. It was the most points scored by a team in the history of the new launch of spring football.
Yeah, 58's a lot of points.
58's a lot of points.
High-scoring championship game.
He threw 4 touchdowns in that game there. Jordan Tiamu is finally a champion. All right, when we come back to college football, quarterbacks who have improved, the biggest jumps this offseason. Lenora Sellers has been a big talking point today since South Carolina is 17th in our rankings. And coordinators who are poised to be a head coach next year maybe in college football. One of those very close to where we sit right now. We'll talk about that on the other side. The show being brought to you by Dr. B. The guy's got LT's hair ready for the summer of 2025.
Dr. Beckenstein is the man that I called when we were talking earlier about how we started this venture. Almost immediately when I saw in the camera shots that I was thinning out a little bit, I wanted to not only maintain but grow some of that hair back, which I have done since seeing Dr. B a little less than 4 years ago. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. Make the phone call that we've made, 205-319-0316, t3hair.net for more information. I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. The hair has more than doubled in thickness. T3's got that new test. It's easy, painless, affordable. Takes seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. There are over 10 categories of agents they use, knowing they will work for you. They will custom compound these agents for you in pill or topical forms. You pick and choose which agents you want. Men and women ordering Hims, other products online, don't even know if they work. Stop wasting your money and critical time while you're losing hair on the treatments that aren't working for you. Come see Dr. B and find out what will work for you. 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, you. Days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
New Life Art is proud to announce Daniel A. Moore's upcoming Alabama basketball painting, Buzzer Beater. Closing out the regular season, Alabama and Auburn faced off in a top 10 matchup. With less than 1 second remaining in overtime and the game tied at 91, Mark Sears launched a 15-foot floater that sealed the Tide's victory. Visit DanielMooreArt.com and see the artist's preliminary sketch of this historic Bama win. And take advantage of special pre-production pricing for Buzzer Beater.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Final hour of the show, always brought to you by our wonderful friends at Champions. Before I tell you about Champions, Damian writes in, big Florida fan. He listens every day waiting for us to unveil the Florida Gators.
We haven't done it yet?
In South Carolina, 17 today. And he's like, so you're telling me either your viewers don't have Florida in their top 25 or they have them ahead of 17. And I said, keep listening, man. And I said, they're killing it in recruiting.
I had them ahead of 17. I can't speak for the other 43 voters. Are there 44 total voters?
45, I think. I can't remember.
Speak for the other 44 voters, but I had Florida ahead of South Carolina.
I said, they're killing it in recruiting, too. And he goes, yeah, so did Ron Zook. Problem is, he can't coach it. Not in the league, anyway. Not in the SEC.
I'm getting a little bullish on this Florida team for this year.
I'm getting a little bullish on Billy Napier, the way he's recruiting.
I don't know. I still need to see Napier do it on the field. I agree with you on recruiting. I'm waiting to see on the field, but I am bullish on this Florida team. Now, listen.
Bigger win last year in Gainesville over Ole Miss, or would you go very first game against Utah?
I would go Ole Miss. Knocked Ole Miss out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, Utah made us – I just remember us coming to do the show that Monday after the Utah game on Labor Day, and we're like, hey, that team, they had edge. We've always heard this is the guy that is closest to Saban of all of his former assistants. People have been telling us that. That looked like, you know, there were some Saban elements to that team. And they never could sustain it, but I thought that. I thought he brought a little edge back to Florida football.
Champy's Chicken, they bring you this hour. College football in this half hour for you. Brought to you by Champy's, your home for tailgating the football season coming up. Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, hand-cut chicken fingers, and, of course, that fried chicken that is brined overnight and cooked to order. All the wonderful sides. If you live in Alabaster, you know how good that location is, just off of Highway 119. It has been there for over a decade. That says enough right there. It's a destination lunch location. If you want to get close, if you want to go there and just enjoy a great lunch, go ahead. No reservation needed. But I'm telling you, a lot of you will drive past that Alabaster exit to or from the beach or to the lake. Stop by. It's just right off the I-65 exit in Alabaster. It's Champy's Chicken, champyschicken.com. Go say hi to Sterling for all of us here. Before we do the spotlight, a couple of things. Tristan Keys is a 5-star wide receiver, verbal commitment to LSU right now, but he's still taking his visits. He was at Tennessee this past weekend. Tennessee set it up to where players dressed in the Tennessee uniforms and walked the runway, the red carpet, out of the locker room, and that is Tristan Keys. It is so hard to recruit these days.
It really is because, I mean, used to, if you saw that video right there, you would say, like, Tennessee has got to be a lock. They had the kid in a uniform.
Yeah.
But everywhere you go now, the kid gets in a uniform and has all those things. So I'm with you. How do you one up that right there?
But there was a time I was like, I don't want him, man. If he's verbal to us and he's still taking these visits and he's putting on their uniform, I don't want him.
And now I'll remind everyone that
this is why you would lose recruit after recruit after recruit.
That's why I'm not in sales.
Right now, if you were LSU coach Jim Dunaway, you would call his dad and say, hey, don't bother coming back.
Yeah, it's done. We're done. No, old Jim would have.
New
Jim is like,
come on, man.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Come on, kid. You can come back.
You can wear what color uniform you want from us? You want us to wear the all blacks at LSU? I don't know if we've ever worn all blacks. We'll do it. It's a different recruiting.
It really is,
there.
but I mean, they're doing that at every stop. I don't know how you keep one-upping it, but that's the problem.
You remember we got to the point where they couldn't even have the customized jersey when.
Yep.
Yeah, it used to be a rule, right?
Yeah,
couldn't put it on the scoreboard, their name.
All the used to stuff is so laughable now in this world of NIL and the transfer portal.
Let's do our spotlight now. It's brought to you by Alexander Shunnarah, and we're going to use quarterbacks ready to make the big jump in the Southeastern Conference. Hit it, Tyler.
The College Football Spotlight.
The Shunnarah Spotlight, presented by our guy, Alexander Shunnarah, Trial Attorneys. Their mission, it was Alexander's mission. He's like, I'm a Birmingham guy. I want to create a firm that can handle any issue my community faced. So they now not only handle personal injury claims, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com, Shunnarah.com.
Lenora Sellers would go into the category of poised to make a big jump. A lot of people believe it. Here's Sellers back at spring football talking about Heisman buzz around his name.
Lenora, so you've had the Heisman tag kind of circulating around your name as of late. Is it weird hearing that and hearing your name in those type of conversations, or do you think about it at all?
I won't say it's weird. It's definitely different, but I mean, I still got to go out there and play, so I don't look into it too much. But we all have goals, so.
I mean, it's a great goal. I'm assuming Lance. I'll pull up Heisman odds. He's not among the top favorites.
I bet he is in the top 10 for shortest odds. I know it's difficult because of the brand that surrounds him, but I'm just talking about what his upside is and what people – I mean, there's a lot of people that do believe he's the best quarterback in this league.
I bet he's 7th.
So George Rogers won the Heisman there, right?
Yep.
He did. Okay. And, I mean, he would be the last even guy that was mentioned for the Heisman there. I mean, I don't think Alshon Jeffries ever got there, or Jadeveon Clowney,
or Stephen Garcia,
or Steve Tannehill.
Steve Tannehill, Marshawn Lattimore, all really good players.
I think I'm right about this. I think George Rogers won the Heisman and played in the Hall of Fame game here in Birmingham, Alabama.
That's right.
That same year.
81 or 82.
To show you how the Heisman has changed and bowl games have changed. I mean, now we give you the Heisman if you're on a team that is...
You got to be in the playoffs.
You're going to be in the
least.
playoffs. You're not going to be playing in the Hall of Fame game in Birmingham, that bowl game.
If he does, what are you calling this? Breakout?
Biggest jump from what they were last year.
Oh, my gosh. If he
need
has
a big jump.
If he has a massive jump, then South Carolina is a college football playoff
They are.
team.
So currently, Arch Manning is your favorite, just over Garrett Nussmeier, Cade Klubnik, Jeremiah Smith, Julian Sayin, Drew Aller, and then Lenora Sellers.
That's
so
7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah.
Yeah. That was a lucky guess by me,
Yeah,
right
it
there.
was a lucky guess. Plus 1,800, depending on where you get him.
Yep.
I mean, is 18-1 a flyer for you there, Lance?
I mean, you're right there with Oregon and Ohio State quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Two teams that if they're not in the college football playoffs, something bad went wrong.
That's right.
And two quarterbacks in those systems, and Will Stein and Ryan Day, that are going to put up tremendous numbers.
I mean, if you're taking a flyer, if you're going to plus 1,800, Brown, go ahead and take Julian Sayin.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a sight unseen.
Yeah, but what would Sayin have to do? I mean, you guys tell me the last time
I throw it to Jeremiah Smith
State
a lot.
Yeah.
was the last quarterback? It was Troy Smith, right?
The last Heisman winning quarterback there? Yeah.
So it's been almost 20 years, and you look at the numbers these quarterbacks have put up. So I don't even know. Yeah, I mean, he would have to go undefeated, and I still think right now that Jeremiah Smith might even get more love than him.
I just don't know what Sellers' numbers would have to be for him to win the Heisman at South Carolina. I mean, I think bare minimum they'd have to be in the playoffs.
I think 3,500 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, 1,000 rushing yards, 10 touchdowns,
4,000-yard SEC quarterback? Was Cam Newton a 4,000-yard quarterback?
Probably. I mean,
I don't know if he was.
Nussmeier probably threw for over 4,000 last year. I'm saying, throw for 3,500 and rush for around 1,000.
Yeah. Because, I don't want to compare him to Cam Newton, but I mean,
They didn't have a 1,000-yard receiver, so he couldn't be a 4,000-yard passer.
No, I say 4,000 total. I was saying, did Cam Newton get 4,000 total yards at
it's
Auburn?
Closer. I mean,
no, I'm just saying if he goes for 350 a game combined,
he was a 1,000-yard passer, 1,000-yard rusher. I know that.
Cam Newton threw for 2,854 yards at Auburn and rushed for 1,473 yards.
So
at
he
Auburn.
was 42 plus.
4,200. God, that's crazy.
Different era 15 years ago.
Yeah, 20 rush TDs, 30 pass TDs, so 50 TDs.
Nussmeier threw for over 4,000 last year.
Yeah. No, I mean, a 4,000 yards, so that shows you the stratosphere you're in as a 4,000-yard SEC quarterback.
Okay, so Lenore Sellers is our line now.
Okay.
I'm going to go with guys who are starting quarterbacks. We're going to take the Arch Manning off the board here, and you tell me bigger jump than Lenore Sellers. They're going to be better than Sellers or less than Sellers this year.
Well, so this is not where they were last year. This is just better than Sellers or worse.
Will they end up being better than Sellers this year?
Okay.
Marcel Reed,
No.
Texas A&M. Do you expect a good jump out of him?
I don't know. I mean, there were times he looked. I'm trying to remember the game. Where was the first game he came in relief, and you're like, all right, they're starting the wrong guy. Was it against LSU? Maybe. Do you remember?
I do remember
Lance?
him coming in, yeah.
Marcel Reed came in, and the reaction the next day was, hey, Kevin Elko is starting the wrong guy here. It didn't play out that way. If you give me 2 seconds, Jim. Yeah, well, no, he was 2 of 2 against LSU. Maybe it was South Carolina. I don't know. But there was a game where he came in and you're like, I think they were starting the wrong guy all along, but it really didn't play out that way.
If Marcel Reed is better, then either Texas A&M has a shot at being the surprise team or South Carolina's just completely falling apart. I just think Sellers is so much better than Reed.
In his 5 games, 8 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That's a little too loose for the football.
Reed or Taylon Green at Arkansas if you had to choose?
Green.
I think Green's better than him.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I would say Taylon Green has a better year than Marcel Reed.
Yeah. John Mateer was a starter at Washington State at Oklahoma. You expect him to have a big breakout year, correct?
I do. I think more when you look at offensive coordinators, you brought up the fact, Sellers unfortunately has Mike Shula and Ben Arbuckle, who knows the strengths of John Mateer coming with him to Norman. I think that's going to be a big difference. mean, Mateer's fascinating just because, how's it going to translate? But I think Mateer, I don't think he's got as much upside, but I think he's ready made.
How good can Blake Shapen be at Mississippi State?
Well, it's going to be an improvement, I think. But I don't know how good he can be. Again, I'll go back, and it's so weird the way the season played out. That game they played at Arizona State early in the year, and you didn't know what Arizona State was. I remember coming away from that game, even with the state loss, thinking, I think Mississippi State found their quarterback here. I like this Blake Shapen kid. He looked pretty good in that game. I've looked back at his numbers, and they don't just blow your socks off. But if you watch that game, he looked in control. He played a solid game.
I thought Van Buren was going to be their quarterback. I really didn't.
You
Obviously, he
think now?
transferred out.
Oh, no. I was about to say now he's gone, yeah.
Gunnar Stockton, Georgia. Bigger breakout than what Sellers will be this year?
I don't think so.
Jackson Arnold, Auburn.
Boy,
No.
If Sellers had his receivers, I just don't think South Carolina's receivers are going to be this good. Sellers, better quarterback. Jackson Arnold, better surrounding cast. I think it'll be close.
Aguilar was a starter last year. What do you
Sellers
expect from
better.
him? Sellers
Yeah.
better.
I don't know if you talk about Tennessee and possibly winning a national championship with Sellers. Be an interesting discussion.
You think?
I don't think there's enough around him.
If you put him
Even
in
at
Tennessee, yeah.
You think
Tennessee
Pavi-
last year?
Pavi is going to?
No, Pavi is going to take a step backwards.
He should.
Nussmeier for you.
Nussmeier is going to be better.
But he's not going to have as big an improvement, but he's going to have a better year. It's hard. Nussmeier is going to be hard for him to improve. He threw, as Lance just mentioned, for 4,000 yards, 29 touchdowns. He did have 12 picks. He can certainly improve that.
But if
It's gonna be in
Sellers,
the wins column.
If Sellers was your starting quarterback in Baton Rouge, I think people would be like, this is just a bigger version of Jaden Daniels.
And then the last one, DJ Lagway.
Ooh, I think this is a tough one.
Yeah, I think it is too.
That's why I saved him for last.
Thanks, Jimmy.
But Norris, we know, is healthy. We're not 100% on DJ.
We're not.
I think all signs are pointing to him being healthy.
Nobody's talking about it.
I will. I think I might go Lagway here again. I've turned bullish on this Florida team for this season. I think Lagway's poised to have a really good year. Yeah. If I pick football teams
just a little bit.
If I pick football teams the way I do majors winners, that's bad news for Billy Napier because I can't get a major right. But
what did Shane Lowry finish
he
up
was
at?
like 12 over. Forgot to mark his ball on Friday.
He
just picked his ball up. Did you see
total.
that? Did you see it? He just picked his ball up, forgot to mark it.
I've done
that's
that
the guy.
once
That's the. Well, yeah, but you're not in the U.S. Open. You did it at Bentbrook. This guy does it in the U.S. Open. I'm like, yeah, that's the guy I picked to win the tournament. Can't even remember to mark his ball.
if you don't mark your ball, nobody, when you're playing a regular round of golf,
we just let you throw it back where it was.
Yeah, nobody cares. It's a one-shot penalty for Shane Lowry.
Yeah.
Not that it mattered.
Yeah, I've bent down, put my mark behind the ball before, and picked my mark up and walked back away and left the ball there. And I was like, oh, no. And then I go back and pick the ball up and forget to put the mark down.
So,
crazy.
in J.J. Spaun's caddy, did y'all see any Tom Segura?
A little bit.
Oh, a little bit. Now that you mention, I kept thinking he had a big old clump of dirt on his visor. I didn't realize he had the hat turned up, and that was just a design.
It looked like it was Grateful Dead teddy bears.
Yeah, something like that. But at first I thought it was just mud.
I did too.
Well, I think today is the 55th anniversary of Mark Fidrich.
The bird?
Throwing the perfect game on LSD. Could you play a good round on LSD?
I probably play better on LSD than I do right now.
All right, so that's the end of our football conversation.
Can we test that? That sounds like content.
No, we're not going to test that.
Brought to you by our friends Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. We appreciate those folks so much. Give me cut number 6. We may know soon, this week even, about a change in college football. Kirby Smart said this is the biggest change that happens, and this week could be the week we find out that this is the next big change in college football. Back at the SEC meetings in Destin, here's what Kirby said had to be the biggest change in college football rules that needs to happen.
The biggest decision that has to be made in college football right now, by far, to me, is when is the portal window and is there one or two? Okay, that's not being decided by us today. A lot of people don't even know how it's getting decided, who's deciding it. But I need you to think for a second. There is a strong contingent. We had an AFCA meeting. We had a meeting in which we unanimously decided that there really needed to be one portal window. Whatever that is what it is. And it needs to happen sometime in January. There is an outcry. There is schools. There's different conferences that feel like it should not fall during the play-in season. I would love that. I would love to be able to play the season without it. Is basketball able to do that, or do they deal with the portal during their championship? I'm asking. During the tournament. What do we deal with during the final, let's call it maybe 4 teams? I don't know if I'm exactly right on that, but roughly we're down to 4. We deal with that. Okay, that's because of the academic calendar for us, where the academic calendar falls, and everybody doesn't have that incongruency. Oh, by the way, we had to deal with that multiple times. It's not fun. It's not fun. It's really hard to be playing in a championship setting and having to deal with that. But when I brought that up as a complaint or a problem, it was told to me, there's no crying from the yacht.
I love that quote.
No crying from the yacht.
No crying from the yacht.
This week, the Rules Committee is going to discuss changing to one portal.
Okay.
And it being January 2nd through the 12th. What Kirby's talking about.
Right there.
Wait, 10 days though? Only 10 days?
Only 10 days. And one window, that's your window to get in. And that's to get in the portal.
That's to get in.
You don't have to find your home.
Yeah.
You just have to be in the portal, and then you can take however long you have to take to find your home. But as most people are saying, all during December, a lot of teams aren't even playing. Players are already home for the holidays, and they're discussing, they're leaving, they're talking to other teams already before the coach even knows, before they even have put their name in the portal anyway. They've made some of these decisions anyway.
Yeah.
So this would come after the January 1st, where we go from 4 games, 8 teams, to where there's only a Final 4 left. So only 4 teams are crying from the yacht that they're having to deal with this for 10 days while the playoffs are going on. There would be 4 teams that would have to cry from their yacht, that would have to deal with it, and it would suck for them.
All this is going to create is, and I know Kirby and coaches would never admit this, all this is going to create is all through December, as soon as those seasons are over, or maybe even before, those coaches are going to be reaching out to the players that they know are going to be in the portal. And, hey, when January gets here now, you get that name in there and you make sure you commit to us right away. Okay, let's don't leave that thing hanging out there. We don't want anybody else. You know you want to be here at Georgia or Alabama or Tennessee.
Not ideal for these 4 teams, but those 4 teams are in a great spot.
That's right.
They're on the yacht. No crying from the yacht.
In theory, should need the portal less, right?
Right.
Than everyone else, in theory.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no good time to do it. Anytime I tell you is the best time to do it.
Are you okay with 1?
I think 1 is fine. It can't go much past January 12th because, I mean, it's at least still going to have some sort of false image that this is about school.
Yeah, your boy from Texas Tech says he wants to know who my guys are before we do off-season workouts.
But if we're going to have any sort of false image that this is all still about getting an education at some point, they've got to be enrolled in school, and most schools are starting by January 12th, are they not?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point in the first couple of weeks of January, everybody's starting. So if you push it back to February, they've missed, a third of the semester already by the time they're enrolled somewhere. So if we're going to pretend this is still about school, it's got to fall somewhere between the end of the fall semester, which is December, and the start of the spring semester, which is January. You got to do it then. Really, the best time to do it would be in the summer.
It would be, but you could lose your entire roster.
That is right. That's why nobody wants it there.
That's right.
But if you did it at the end of April when everybody's done with school and you've already had spring practice, and you say, okay, this thing's going to be open from April 21st through April 30th or May 5th or whatever day you want to say, that's the very best time to do it.
Well, it seems like that's the least amount of attrition that we've had for anybody.
It is, but if that were the only time the portal was open, it wouldn't be. That's because
there would be more, but I still don't think it would be.
Well, the fear, like Jim says, is you lose key players and you've got no hope of replacing them before the season starts.
Well, I mean,
at least if you lose key players in the fall portal, you can maybe replace them in the spring.
Yeah, but you'd have that same portal you're losing. You'd have to get them from other people at that point, but it would be chaos at that point.
It would be.
Yeah.
Boy, can you imagine the money that would be spent right there?
There'd be no way for Phil Steele to do his magazines anymore.
That would be tough.
One more thing to do. It's already tough. One more thing to do on college football here.
I miss the sideline photos. When I was a little kid, a girl in a cheerleader uniform in Lindy's or Athlines.
Well, I'm sure Lindy's is still out there.
Yeah.
Oh, Lindy ain't going to stop that.
No, but I mean, there was something special about that little section.
They would just squeeze an Oregon girl in. It was all SEC.
Yeah, I know. An Oregon
occasional
girl. Texas
Tech or Oregon.
Oh, they would have the Song girls in there. Don't you worry. They'd have those USC sweaters in there.
undefeated, man. I forgot how much ABC used to focus on the girls in their college football coverage in the 70s.
Well, who was the was it Chet Forty? Who was the producer?
It was Chet Forty.
Yeah,
who said,
we're it's
How do we hook men in?
31-6, but you know what we can do? They're still waiting to see how this total plays out. Let's look over in this section right here.
Yeah.
Let's show the show.
I'll give you an example. I was watching 1970 something USC UCLA at the Coliseum.
Yeah.
Both teams were pretty good. It was the first year for Robinson and Donahue were the head coach, whatever year that was. It was their first year being the head coach at USC UCLA, and they were both pretty good, and they were playing each other. And they were at the Coliseum, and Keith Jackson was doing the game, and he's like, and here comes USC. And they'd always show the players running on the field. And Jackson would say, here they come. So here comes USC running on the field for about 5 seconds. And then for about 30 seconds, it's the song girls dancing.
Yeah.
And now UCLA. 5 seconds UCLA. And then the UCLA cheerleaders for about 30 seconds.
So I haven't watched
And I
this
was like,
Brett
boy, it was a different time in the 70s.
documentary that Tyler was telling us about on Netflix, but I had a friend call me last week, and he was talking about it, and he said, man, it's a really, really bad look for Favre. Have you guys seen it?
I've heard it is, yeah. It's awful.
The one point I was going to bring up, Jen Sturger is a big part of it, but this individual that's telling me this, I didn't realize that Jen Sturger was found in the crowd. And I was like, yeah, it was a Labor Day Monday night. I think it was our
Florida
boy
State.
Brent Musburger.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That kind of got her out of the crowd, and she blew up for a minute after that.
Wasn't it Florida State Miami when they moved that to Labor Day night? Yep.
And those infamous shots are still on the web everywhere. Yeah. Like, I don't know, can you do that now after the Catherine Webb thing?
I don't know.
How criticized he got for that?
I don't know. We don't focus as much, I think, on the...
we don't exploit our women in the crowd as much?
I don't think we do.
Guys still love that.
But then I'm watching Murray State baseball the other day, and they 2 or 3 attractive girls with Ray-Bans on sitting there in the day game.
Do they have a lot of fans there, Murray State? I haven't watched the game yet.
The very first game when they were playing UCLA is the game I was watching.
Check the shot wheel.
No, that's why I asked, because as of the last update, I think they were second in Jello shots, which probably means a big...
It looked like about 500, but they were talking on the broadcast about, and by the way, they've got the guys who do the Sunday Night Baseball doing it. I wish they'd let the college play-by-play.
They don't have like Ben McDonald and...
Ben McDonald's doing
Kyle Peterson?
I think they're split doing it, but then they've got Ravitch and then one of the pro guys.
Eduardo Perez?
That's who it is, yep. On the broadcast I was seeing. The guys who have toiled all year doing college baseball, let them do the College World Series.
Yeah, you guys are
Coastal Carolina.
Let Tom Hart do a College World Series
exactly.
game.
Tom's so good.
No, it's Murray State currently, according to this, is second.
So they probably had a big donor
behind LSU.
LSU's got almost 13,000, and Murray State 6,100.
If LSU makes the championship, they'll probably take home the all-time title.
Maybe so. Anyway, what was my point?
I don't know. You were watching attractive girls behind the dugout.
Yeah, they were still showing them. One more thing to get to after LT tells us about our friends at Hemp Hill. It involves the coordinators who are about to go from being hot coordinators to maybe hot coaching candidates as head coaches.
Guess who's going to be at my house at 4 o'clock?
That's going to be Hemp Hill Services.
Hemp Hill Services. Yeah, literally, I went up there. JT's got a little knee problem right now. I've got to get an MRI. Later today was with our friends at Precision earlier this morning. But I went up there to get his deodorant from his vanity, and there was still sitting water in the sink. And I go downstairs, and I'm like, what the hell? And he's like, yeah, it's been like that for a while. It just takes a couple of hours to drain. I'm like, were you ever going to tell me? Like, that is nasty.
It's only been that way since 2021.
So 205-229-2090, the number I called today. Talk to Andrew. They're going to come out later today, figure out whatever this problem is. Whether you experience any plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are always ready to serve you. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for any and all of those issues. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
I think I would tell you it's going to be clogged hair.
I don't know. He does shave a lot.
Did Leighton use that one?
No.
Because let me tell you, as a father of 2 daughters with long hair and husband of 1 wife with long hair, but I find it everywhere.
Oh,
everywhere.
I do too. Maddie only stays with me a couple of nights a week.
Yeah.
But I can tell just by when the shower runs. I run the shower a little bit before I get in.
Get it nice and warm.
And there's a little backup because there's much more hair in the drain.
You ought to have 2 daughters with long hair. Oof.
A lot of hair there. Okay, here's the one thing. This graphic.
A lot of it.
Shows you coordinators who are poised to become head coaches next year. Number 1 on the list is Ryan Grubb of Alabama, Brian Hartline at Ohio State, if you're listening to us, Tim Banks at Tennessee, Andy, I never can say his last name.
Kotelnicki.
Yeah, Penn State, Chris Hampton, who is the co-defensive coordinator defensive coordinator for Oregon. They mentioned Garrett Riley at Clemson, whose star burned brightly. Then he went to Clemson. It fell off. It's coming back again. Glenn Schumann of Georgia, who I like. Blake Baker of LSU and Shannon Dawson of Miami.
I think the ready-made.
But look at Ryan Grubb of Alabama.
This is why he came back. I mean, obviously there were some disagreements. Him and Mike McDonald over in Seattle wanted to get back to the college game. But the main reason is high profile in the SEC. They come back in year two, or he reunites with Kalen DeBoer, and they win a championship. He's gone. I think the ready-made guys right now, though, are Brian Hartline and I think Glenn Schumann. And I would be really surprised if either one of those guys is not a head guy after next year. Now, a lot of this is dependent on what kind of jobs are open up in front, because you're not going to leave those respective positions to take an average job.
So I was going to ask you, where do you leave Ohio State and Georgia to go? And then we'll talk about Ryan Grubb.
I mean, Oklahoma opens up. You go to Oklahoma, right?
If Napier gets fired at Florida, yeah, you 100% go there.
LSU. I mean, there are a crazy amount of massive jobs, USC, that could open up in this offseason.
Yeah. I mean, we don't talk about it a lot.
Auburn.
I was about to say there's a path that Auburn's open. I mean, that's a possibility.
Glenn Schumann would take the Auburn job
in a heartbeat.
I like Glenn Schumann a lot. Ryan Grubb, I'm not going to say he reluctantly left Seattle, but his family liked Seattle. He went from the Washington Huskies, did not come with DeBoer, went to the Seattle Seahawks. The coach at Washington now from Arizona is
Jedd
his
Fish.
Second year, Jedd Fish.
If it doesn't work out for Fish,
If it doesn't work out for Fish, I mean, if you're a Washington fan, you'd be like, we'll take him back, absolutely.
Yeah, look, Washington in the Big Ten is an extremely strange fit. And, I don't think the travel benefits them, but it still is a team that we have seen in the college football playoff. It still is an alpha program when you look at the West Coast. I mean, where would you stack? I mean, Oregon and USC, but would Washington not be? I still put Washington in front of Arizona State.
I would agree.
Yeah. So I think it's the third biggest job on the West Coast, and it's in the Big Ten now. It's a really good job.
Yeah, you would have to keep an eye on that if you're an Alabama fan that wants to keep Grubb.
But if he's going to get this job, that means they've had a tremendous year.
That's right. That'd be huge. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if he gets any job.
And he sounds good on a microphone. Like, I think he is going to end up being a polarizing guy because he is kind of a pit bull.
Yep.
But he's one of those guys that will take control of your program when he is given that opportunity, and I do think it's going to be sooner than later.
Stay tuned to our platforms. EG and Forrest are working on some Alabama football content coming up soon. When we come back, a picture that is going to blow LT's mind about one of his favorite NFL players. We will get to that and a little bit more on the show that's being brought to you today by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision, the people that blew LT's mind years ago to give him 2015 vision.
Yeah, it was, and we actually talked about this with our buddy Herb at the Landing. I had worn contacts for so long, I had to take them out a week prior to the procedure. So I was supposed to be wearing glasses, which I really didn't have any, so I was basically driving around Birmingham blind. With that 2200 vision, and I had this big sedan DeVille, an old Cadillac. Tyler would have loved it. I backed it into Herb's brand new red Lexus. But that was April of 2003. That's when I got the procedure done, and I never had to worry about these issues again. 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. 0 to lose. Dr. Mark Michelson, first to perform the LASIK procedure in the state of Alabama back in 1995. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, Trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Hey, you. Days warming up, looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Back with you on the next round. Before we get to trash, a couple more things to get to. I don't want to say Maggie doesn't compliment me a lot.
You never fish for compliments, do you?
But they mean a lot when you...
But I peeled my shirt off at the pool.
Oh, boy.
On Sunday.
Who didn't think this was going to be awkward?
And then I threw my sunglasses back on, and she said, "Where'd you get those sunglasses?"
Oh, it had nothing to do with your body.
It had nothing to do with my body.
Yeah.
And I said, "Do you like them?" before I answer that. And she says, "I love them. They're big and they cover up your face."
Wow.
She said they're big, not cover up your face, but I need big sunglasses for my big head. And they were my sunglasses I got from Breakline.
Are they the ones that the ones you picked out the other day?
I absolutely brought those back and switched them out and with the box in there.
I can't believe I
thought that was a good look.
I did too, Tyler. He will not believe us. He thought we were setting him up for failure.
Yeah, and this is one of those why would you just not wear them? But if you found something you like, that's a great.
Yeah, I just went with a more
conservative.
More conservative look.
Yeah. Tyler, I'm with you. I thought it was a good look for
You're
James.
an Emmy winner. Show up in the flamboyant glasses.
Two-time Emmy
Two-time
winner.
Emmy
You
winner.
calling them flamboyant is not going to make him go back to them. I can tell you that.
Not a fluke. Two-time.
That's right.
Yeah, they. I don't know what part of them I didn't like, but I've never looked good in the traditional, the fighter pilot Ray-Bans either. I've never looked good in those.
See, I've got
the
the
aviators.
I've got
those are
two types.
aviators.
I've got more of the conservative. They're almost like a Ray-Ban Wayfarer.
That's the one I look best in.
But I've also got the roadie, which I really like.
Yeah.
And those are the roadies I've got are blue and they're polarized. They're the ones I wore to the lake on Friday. But the Breakline, I'm telling you, the durability. I had some designers that I was walking out of a smoothie shop, and I dropped something. I went to pick them up, and I had them. I don't know if you guys ever put your just hang them right
all the
there.
time.
And I leaned over. They fell, hit the ground, and busted in like a million pieces. And these were like $350 sunglasses.
yeah.
You drop brake lines,
Nope,
and the
they're not
price
gonna break.
point is much better.
That's right.
Around $200 a pair. Fantastic.
Yep.
Crafted in Italy. Awesome sunglasses.
Yeah, Trivex lenses is what Lance. Oh, you can bang them with a hammer and they're not going to break. Right there at Breakline, you can see everything at BreaklineOptics.com. BreaklineOptics.com to go look at the glasses we were talking about here. Here's the great news. You love shopping local. These are local guys. It's a Birmingham-based company. You can find them locally if you want to go see them in person at Deep South Outfitters in Birmingham, Deep South Outfitters. But you can also shop online, BreaklineOptics.com. They stand behind their product, lifetime warranty against any manufacturer defects, 100% American-based reliable customer support as well, so you can handle any issues you have with them. BreaklineOptics.com. That is BreaklineOptics.com.
I saw like 16 pairs there that I liked.
You go online.
I like the one I like, but
you go online, and there's my man Cleve right there. You go online and find the pair that you really want, and I will have them to you this week.
And Cleve will bring them up here for us?
He will.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Appreciate that.
Non-flamboyant.
Tyler, Scott, you guys want to look online, find the Breakline pair of your choice.
that's right.
I will have those up.
Okay, I like that. Can you give me the picture of Cincinnati Bengals starting quarterback? And Forrester usually tells me that if I've found something over the weekend that, Jim, you've been fooled, it's fake. He did not tell me this is fake. I believe this to be real.
Is he talking about going west?
This is the Cincinnati Bengals starting quarterback. Forrester's microphone, please. He's wanting to tell me something. Look at Joe Burrow's hair.
Look at that.
It's a vampire movie.
Look at that salad.
I mean, my gosh. He's had all kinds of hairstyles, too.
If this was the 80s and he was playing a soprano saxophone, it would not surprise you with that hair.
What kind of comments would come out of SEC fan bases about that, especially the old school guy, if he was still quarterbacking LSU with that look?
Until they saw him play. I mean, it literally looks like, if you told me this is a movie, Jim, about a high school quarterback, played by a guy that looks too old to be in high school, but it is Hollywood, a high school quarterback that is also a vampire on the side, I'd be like, yeah.
You know what I think it is?
That's the promotional
That's Mel
shoot.
Gibson's hair in Lethal Weapon 1.
Tyler, back me up on this. This is Cincinnati Bengals quarterback by day in the future, but now he's got to go save the universe by killing the Battlestar. He's going to be flying for the good guys in a Star Wars movie is what that looks like.
He does look like Anakin from the prequel trilogy. I see what you mean.
That's what SS said before you could finish it there, Dunaway. He looks like Anakin.
Yeah, he looks like Hayden Christensen.
Now, Anakin is
from
Luke Skywalker's younger brother.
Dad.
Father.
Mom.
Turns into Darth Vader.
I'm your father, Luke.
Whoa. Okay, so that's who Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker, but he's Anakin in a previous Star Wars that came out after Star Wars.
Yes.
I think a really good podcast would be like you and Melton explaining to us what some of this stuff is in these universes.
By us, he means me and Dunaway.
I don't know if me or Melton would be up for that. That's a challenge.
Would it be frustrating?
It would be, yeah.
But hey, but back to it. The kids love this long hair. Like we were watching Dustin May last night for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And he's got some unique hair, right?
I hadn't seen Dusty May this year.
The red. It's still the crazy ass.
Oh, yeah. The carrot top, yeah.
Hey, there you go. There's a side-by-side with Anakin.
Oh, he does look
pretty
like
close.
Because didn't we always say Jackson Dart was Anakin Skywalker? Or not we, but didn't people always
hair,
say?
yeah.
Yep. Jackson Dart was trying to look like Anakin Skywalker.
But we were talking about May's hair last night, and
Yeah.
Jason says, I'll tell you, the best hair to have is like one of those Point Break surfers.
Point Break surfers.
So these kids love the long hair.
Hey,
Okay,
dude,
I'm
man.
gonna go ahead and say this.
All right, here we go.
He that's a perm. That hair is not natural.
I do agree with Dunaway.
I think he perms it.
I think he might have some rollers in it.
I don't know about that. Can you give me some other images of Burrow? Now, I know he's had the shaved. He's had the Marshall Mathers M&M hair that he had dyed for a little bit.
Yeah,
but
so
I
Tyler,
think he's got a little wave in his hair.
Yeah.
Like if I was to grow my hair out,
me.
would you say my hair is straight or curly?
I would say it's 100% straight.
No, mine would be like that.
Would it really?
It really would be, yeah.
Well, only one way to find out, Lance.
Look, that would take me 10 years, and there would be patches missing now,
Dr.
probably,
B.
even with Dr.
Give me that
B.
LSU. That one right there. Let's see that one.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
That was back before he could afford a perm.
Well, he's a little chunkier then, too. He's dropped some LBs. Hasn't he? I mean, look at that photo versus that Cincinnati photo.
I don't know. It still looks like that's permed up there.
Well, see, that could be permed.
It could just be the ability to afford a good stylist now.
Yeah.
You know, he's not going to sports clips.
That's a great point, Tyler.
The third one over on the second, where he's got the orange Bengals jersey, that's
right
more
there,
Jim Brewer.
I think that is Photoshopped.
Is that Jim Brewer, though?
His hair never looked like that, did it?
Yes, that is Jim Brewer.
Yeah, I mean, his hair's been all over I'll tell you, he doesn't look healthy in this new picture.
I agree.
He's
That's
so
what I'm saying.
freaking pale. And
and he's lost some. He's dropped some LBs, man. Look how skinny that old cat is.
Does have a little bit of the Ozempic face there.
He does. I mean, there's no way an NFL player needs Ozempic to lose weight.
Oh, by the way, I came across the exact quote.
His
I was
arms
looking for
too.
something.
Yeah.
The Barkley quote on Ozempic. Do you remember it,
I
Dunaway?
don't.
And you never did it on the first tee box.
Oh, I didn't. It wasn't. Yeah, well, that's right. It wasn't.
It was. I'll tell you, because I said it out loud to Bo. And he was like, oh, my God, like this needs to be immortalized. The only thing that has been through more overweight, older white women than Charles Barkley is Ozempic. On the first tee box, I mean, that would have been.
Oh, Charles would have loved it.
Yep.
All right, so I don't see Curly over there other than that one.
Wait, no, the top left. I mean, his bangs. I mean, that stuff ain't straight.
Man, Burrow, he'll change the hair, won't he?
Yeah, he will. He
Poll
ain't Kirby
question of
Smart.
the day: does he perm his hair?
Does Joe Burrow perm his hair?
Does he sit on a dryer watching game tape?
I'll tell you.
I mean, that picture more hairstyles than Kirby Smart's had in his 50 years.
There's no doubt. Kirby felt one he liked stuck with it.
Before we get to trash, remember the show brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, open for lunch now for about 45 minutes. You can get the great destination lunch location for great Southern eats. That includes the fried chicken that's brined overnight. Don't forget the Mississippi recipe Delta tamales. The Delta recipe tamales right there. They've got a little heat to them. They're fantastic. On-site made desserts, including the Mississippi mud pie. So good. It's all right there at Champy's. Champy'sChicken.com. Let's do a little trash.
After the break, we're going to interview Eric Weihenmayer, who climbed the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest. But he's gay. He's blind.
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up a delicious Bud Light today, whether you're at a local bar or just rolling through the grocery store. They deem this nightmare at the museum. According to this article, a foolish tourist in Italy sat on a chair adorned with thousands of Swarovski crystals for a photo op.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Crushing the precious work of the art beneath his weight.
Watch right here, though, Donovan. I almost sent this to Tyler. I didn't know he already had it. Look how quick they get out. They think they're going to go undetected. I mean, they get out as quick as they can, don't they?
I mean, look, I think it's obvious you're not supposed to sit in this, but should there not be some signage around there?
100%, Lance. That's the first thing I thought is like, clearly you don't sit there, but also don't allow people to get close enough to sit there, right?
So where is this? Italy?
This is in Italy. The
Please tell me
Palazzo
they're not Americans, are they?
No,
Maffi in Verona took to social media to shame the tourists, sharing footage of their actions, which they called superficial and disrespectful. The museum raged, quote, they ignored every rule of respect for art and cultural heritage, noting the tourists waited for security to leave the room for the ill-fated photo op. Now, the art piece by Italian artist Nicola Bola was named the Van Gogh chair, as it resembles a chair in one of the legendary Dutch painter's most famous pieces.
Hey, by the way, I mean,
But by the way, they've been able to fix this, by the way.
They should have done this, but he can redo that piece in about 20 minutes. I mean, it's just a chair, guys.
I can't believe that fat-ass dude thought he could sit in that.
Yeah, really. I mean,
I wouldn't feel comfortable sitting in that thing.
By the way, we call this art. I mean, some guy bedazzles a chair and we're going to put that in an art museum.
I mean, I wouldn't put it in my house. Would you?
I mean, no. How does that pass as art? Like Mona Lisa, I get.
I've
heard Mona Lisa's way smaller than you think it is.
There was that one modern artist that just like painted a red dot on a blank canvas and sold it for a ton of money.
Call that the Japanese flag. What do you? I mean, it is.
It is.
Will I ever catch you dead in that shirt?
Is that? Are those diamonds?
Yeah.
Crystals.
Yeah,
crystals.
Swarovski or Swarovski.
Yeah, I mean, he glued a bunch of crystals to a chair, and we call that art now.
I mean, I didn't get the price point, but that's probably I don't know, $2, $3, $4 million chair.
I'll tell you what, Vincent Van Gogh is rolling over in his grave that we call this art.
I saw some estimates at $50,000 for the chair, but I haven't seen a definite number.
Well, I mean,
Restoration Hardware's got more expensive chairs than that.
I could stack a bunch of crystals in a drawer and it'd be $50,000. Don't make it art. That's lazy. I mean, a guy shouldn't have broke it. I don't disagree, but let's don't act like, he defaced. I'm trying to think of something other than Mona Lisa.
But the crystals, isn't that what
bow over the top?
Some of the musical artists, the females, put on their microphones.
Yeah. You think those are real crystals?
Yes.
I mean, those are.
You know what would have been funny is if they call a little boy and they're like, hey, we're going to need you to do another chair in crystals. And he comes back and gets crystal hamburgers this time. He said, just put that one in there.
You did some Ronnie Millsap for us last week.
Who?
With my brake line on.
Yeah, but like if I was Ronnie Millsap or Stevie Wonders, like if you're their handler and they're like, hey, well, go get some jewels for my microphone.
Yeah.
And they're really never going to know the difference, are they?
You go...
I'd charge them full price and give them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, give them the Fugazi.
Yeah.
By the way, I like the way like multiple Stevie Wonders with Lance.
How many are there? Yeah. Stevie doesn't know.
No idea.
Stevie Wonders.
Police
he wonders if those are real crystals or not.
Did I call him Stevie Wonders?
I thought an S slipped out of there.
Go plural there.
So police, we have a common friend that he cannot get a name right.
Me. It's me.
No,
it's me.
No, but it's like when he talks about it's Joe Burrows.
Oh, he puts
it's
the S on
Kerry
them all?
Woods. Yeah.
No, I do that a lot too.
Police in South Carolina engaged in a not-so-hot pursuit as they chased a tractor excavator down a main highway for more than an hour at the speed an average adult walks.
Just got to run him out of gas.
Chase reached speeds of 3 miles an hour early Sunday morning in North Charleston. Officers on a different call saw a big piece of construction equipment with treads and a shovel in front go across U.S. Highway 78 around 3:30 a.m. A few minutes later, they got the call from a business that was heavily damaged and saw the excavator slowly heading away. Now, several cars immediately joined in on the very slow pursuit. The excavator was going so slow that the cruisers would have to briefly stop several times a minute to not pass the construction equipment. Chase went on for an hour and 12 minutes.
It's a 3-year-old's favorite police chase. Every 3-year-old boy loves those things.
Pull it for the excavator.
The driver tried to run but was followed by a drone until a police dog and handler caught up. 53-year-old driver was charged with failure to stop for a blue light, 2 counts of malicious injury to real property, and he is a $22,000 bond has been set.
All right, so let me ask you this. We go to a construction site. I put you on one of those and say, all right, you got to drive it for a mile. how long would it take you to figure out how to drive that thing? I mean, it's not a gas pedal and a steering wheel.
We did it in high school. There was
you drove one of those?
Some open lots. We had some of the heavy equipment that we tried.
Really?
Yeah. We were able to get away on the little bitty Bobcats a little bit.
I didn't know you went to trade school.
I did not go to trade school.
That sounds like a trade school deal.
This equipment, though, I was at a local client's a couple of weeks ago, and they were giving me a tour, and they just bought a piece of equipment, $1 million for one piece of equipment.
Yeah. And you drive them with sticks, right?
Yeah. It's like levers. I don't think you call them sticks. I think.
These things are expensive, and even the smaller versions, like the skid steers.
Yeah.
But if it's the same controls, I could.
You could do it.
Yeah.
Because you used to do that lumber clearing or some crap.
Yeah, I used to do landscaping. So,
that's right.
I'm used to driving dump trucks and Kubota skid steers and all sorts of stuff.
Do you have to have a CDL for that?
I mean, you're supposed to.
Well, we used to drive the...
I gotcha.
I worked for the old Vincent's Market, over by Brookwood, and I was in produce for a long time. But when they would do the regions, they catered everything. And so I had to drive the... what do you call it?
The forklift?
The forklift,
yeah. Did y'all had trade school, like, was it at school? Because in Sachs, when you had trade school, you left and went to another building.
Well, we had two. We had some shop classes.
Industrial arts.
Yeah, industrial arts is exactly what it's called.
Is that fancy?
It's called shop in County. Let me go tell you.
Industrial arts.
But no,
Terry Crawford, shout out.
But when you were like working on some real stuff like plumbing, electricity, cars, you would go to the
trade school,
which was outside of Columbia.
Yeah, because they would leave and they'd leave at like fourth period and they'd go to a whole new school.
Yep.
Yeah,
they were the kids that usually smoked.
They did, but you know what? They
had
jumped,
the thick lip of mustache.
Yeah, they jumped straight out of high school, making $15.50 an hour.
They're all retired right now, and I'm still working.
I know.
Yeah.
Man decided to defecate in the middle of a Detroit shoe store on Sunday. It was
that's
on
art.
camera. Meanwhile, an employee of the store turned to social media to find the man who made the voluntary drop in a shoe aisle. The dump and dash happened Sunday morning at the Foreman Mill store at 8 Mile and Van Dyke. The employee, James Vasquez, witnessed the whole thing. Quote, came straight into the store, didn't even talk to anybody, went straight to the shoe aisle, didn't try to hide it, just pulled down his pants, pooped, didn't even wipe, walked straight out the car and left.
I like how he threw it. He didn't even wipe. Like, what an animal. He didn't wipe.
They didn't have any socks.
As opposed to the other people who do that in a shoe
and
store.
At least he wiped.
At least wiped.
Yeah.
They have no idea. The guy was he walking in, had a nice car, looked like a burgundy Cadillac, according to this. Nice outfit on, nice clean cut. They don't know what was going on, and they still hadn't found the guy.
I was bored with nothing to watch last night. I'm through with all the shows on the internet, on all streaming services.
I'll tell you what I stumbled into, guilty pleasure now.
What is it?
Animal Kingdom. I've only seen 4 episodes. I had a buddy this is so strange. I had a buddy tell me about it years ago because it ran on TNT. Remember they used to run the hell out of the promos. So there was a movie that I saw years ago, Animal Kingdom, the movie out of Australia. And it was well done, about a family of bank robbers, thieves. Mom is kind of the matriarch that calls the shots and puts the different heists together. So Ellen Barkin
Robinson Crusoe
plays that one now, but they moved it instead of Australia, Southern California, Newport Beach, wherever it is. But I'm 4 episodes in. I called Jack before we got to bed Saturday, and I was like, I got a new show for you. And he's like, I got one for you. Me and Mom started watching Animal Kingdom. I'm like, how random is that this thing that started in 2016, they started watching it the same night I watched it. But you need to check that out.
That is crazy. I was going to tell you, I went back and watched, because we brought it up on the show last week, Deadwood.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
I watched the first episode last night, and a guy pooping in shoes reminded me that we didn't always have the bathroom setup mastered. Pretty disgusting time.
Swearingen's onesie that he wears all the time is so dirty. What do you think that thing smells like?
The whole bed, the bedding and the quilts and that whole show stunk.
I was watching a TikTok about these people that live up in Antarctica and they work up there, and for some reason they can't use deodorant. Like, I don't know what it is about. Something about it, they can't use deodorant. He goes, so everybody just smells like sweat.
Is that like because of the perfect skyline and I forget what they call it?
The chemical
that messes up
that's
the ozone.
in it that stops perspiration. When it's that cold, it ends up having a chemical reaction that ends up burning you.
You just completely made that up.
I think it's more damaging the ozone when you look up and see green lights.
I really don't know, but they can't. And he said you just end up, at first it's off-putting, but you just end up smelling everybody's sweat and you just get used to it. So I guess back in the day you would just get used to it. If you can in Antarctica, you could in the old
Tyler,
West.
is this a Labubu figure?
Yes. So this is basically the new Beanie Baby craze.
Okay, a rare first-generation Labubu figure is sold for $150,000 in Beijing at an auction held exclusively for the toys that have taken the world by storm. Now, the 51-inch mint green figurine with a gremlin-like appearance, sharp teeth, and puckish grin went for $150,325 at the Yongle International Auction House. Normally specializes in jewelry and modern art.
It's like a Teletubby beaver rabbit.
Okay. I could see all those things.
Another thing that would not be in my house.
Yeah. I'd have that bedazzled chair before I'd have that.
Yeah, I mean, this has become the new thing for scalpers to go for, are these little dolls. They make like keychains for girls to put on their purses, and they resell for hundreds and thousands of dollars.
I mean, this is something that I would put on the curb and call the exchange club and say, hey, look, I don't know what it is, but come get it.
Come get it.
Tomorrow, please.
That's all I got.
That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. NBA happening tonight. Should be a fun Game 5 there. Feels like it'll have to be a Therese Halliburton game, or it feels like it'll be an Oklahoma City win pretty easily. 9.5. It's hard to paint a scenario where Indiana wins this game tonight.
I've got a friend that likes Indiana to cover but to not win. I do have a play on this game myself. This marks 32nd time that a finals has been 2-2 going into Game 5. Winner of Game 5 has gone on to win 23 of the 31 previous occasions. So this is a big pivotal Game 5.
And I think winner of Game 3, though, is 83% in a 1-1, right?
80%.
80%, yeah, and that's Indiana. So it'll flip back to Oklahoma City now, yeah.
Here is the night everyone's been waiting for, 663 days. Shohei Ohtani pitches tonight. Huge game, too. Padres-Dodgers, 9:10 on the MLB Network if you have that one to watch. But Ohtani pitching again for the first time in 663 days. He's one behind Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh of Seattle, the catcher with Seattle. They've each got 26 home runs. Ohtani's got 25. Now he's going to bring the pitching back into it.
Well, look, the Dodgers are down 14 pitchers on the DL, 4 starters they need. I mean, he's only going to pitch an inning or two. But this is going to be fascinating to see how this plays out 21 months after the UCL surgery.
If you're not on him yet, future star
of UCLA?
Future star of the sport, 21-year-old Junior Caminera of my Tampa Bay Rays, 17 home runs. Just a couple of years ago, he was playing in Montgomery with the Montgomery Biscuits, just down the road from where we are, Double-A baseball. He's got 17 home runs. Tampa Bay swept the Mets this weekend.
As good as y'all are at developing young talent, the Biscuits ought to win it every year.
They should.
Because they all come through Montgomery.
And then you trade one guy, like Junior Caminera in a few years, and get 3 of those stars back and send them to the minor leagues, to Montgomery.
How does Grant Holmes have 15 Ks at home against Colorado and lose by almost double digits?
Plays with the Braves.
I mean, but you only need 27 outs. So, I mean, don't you look at the rest of the clubhouse like, guys, there's 8 other of you. Y'all only needed 12 outs. Yep. I got 15 of them myself.
Braves are 8 out on the wild card. Day off today. They host the Mets in a very important series, trying to chase down the Mets, who are 13.5 games out in front. And the Mets coming off the sweep of the Tampa Bay Rays. Just wanted to brag about the Rays for a second. And Rafael Devers traded from the Red Sox to the Giants. Mookie Betts is sitting there going, don't worry about it, Rafael. It's going to turn out okay for you.
Boy, I tell you, though, San Francisco, where they are right now, without a lot of offense, you put Devers in that lineup, whether he's playing first or DH, that's a big get.
Yep. And Boston, by the way, swept the New York Yankees over the weekend. So in a weekend series, both the Mets and the Yankees both got swept. Baseball. Pennant Grace returns tomorrow, 12:15. You got the Meltdown live today at 2 o'clock, where Tyler talks movies with Melton and the gang. We're back with you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.